Alrighty guys, welcome to something a little bit special today. We have got a Legion TD tier list, alright? So I've got all 96 base units here. We're going to be going over and rating them for level 1 to 10. So as you can see, we've got the tiers ranging from S++ to F tier, with B being roundabout average. So I've got a bunch of people in voice with me for this, because otherwise it would just be my opinion and then you'd all be hearing the wrong thing. So you guys would introduce yourselves, say g'day.
Yo, moi here. Moamoa. It's a great Moamoa.
RedRum, hi.
Yeah, hi, N1ll here.
Right, beauty. And we'll probably have a couple other people joining us at different points, so they'll sort of say g'day when they rock up. Anyway, so...
I think I'm allowed to speak as well now, thank you. I hate pushing.
And we've got the man himself here, so we'll just... yeah, so LF as well. So cheers very much for joining.
Half the time you won't hear me because it's Pusher Talk. But yeah, I'll try my best.
Works for me, man.
Let's start.
Alrighty, so got this first unit here. So I've got Mr. Acolyte. So we might be going back and just re-rating some of them as we go through and we determine more what's average, more what's not. But for me, Acolyte, I'm going to whack him right down in the average tier for 1 to 10. So this for me, Revan YOLO is below average YOLO. I don't think it's all that good without really nice other units for it. But I think the Acolyte tier 1 just in itself is a pretty decent tier 1 for 20 gold. So for 1 to 10, I reckon he's about average.
Yeah, early on, yes.
Yeah, I think any range tier 1 should be from A to S, but...
You reckon?
I need to go A to S because it's used for 15 and that's a key level, so...
Yeah, but...
Yeah, but it's not about that right now.
Though.
Yeah,
right now it's
just
well
to
can you YOLO with
S.
it good. And if you have just that unit, I think it's a bit tricky. It's not as efficient.
But doable. I think I would rate it A or S as well. It's a decent tier 1. A ranged tier 1 is always good.
Range tier 1 is always good. Okay, we'll pop it an A for now and then we'll see what we think. So who wants to take number 2? Just let me know where to pop it. So just have one guy give the intro.
A.
Yep.
A, yes.
S for me too.
For me it's S as well. I think the Spectre's a lot better early on.
Yeah.
But you can't just YOLO it, you know?
No, you can't.
Like you can't just play only Spectre. But you can play only Acolyte.
That's true, but it's such a good ad for many setup.
I feel like, yeah, with any
finisher.
unit I have, I'm just so happy to add a Spectre. It just always feels good to me.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if you have a Blaster, it one hits level 5 versus Ferb, but it's also TK with turret because it's 25 gold. You can't start 3-0. So you have setups where it sucks and setups where it's great. I would rate it personally an A.
Alright, let's leave it here for now then, and we'll see how we go with everything else. So next up we got, this is in order for like tier 1s, 2s, 3s, just to make it more clear, by the way. So next up we've got Mr. Ent, who wants to take him.
That's good HP.
On C. Yeah, that's good HP indeed. It's 115 HP.
Yep.
Which is more than All Crier and Tuskar, so it's slightly better, and it's heavy armor, so it's good on 1, 2, 3. Compared to the other melee tier 1, I would put it in C, yeah, because...
Yeah, B or C.
Yeah. Well, the upgrade round is really bad, like, it's not even debuff, because against boss it doesn't work on 10. The spell is decrease, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it mostly
Never
just
upgrade
gets
it in
maxed
any situation, basically, so...
Yeah, realistically it's good for 3 levels and then it's a 20 gold blocker with no relevance.
Like when you have EA, for example, I like it way more than All Crier or Tuskar. I think on 6 you're more likely hold with undervalue with this. Even with Aqua on 6. Yeah.
Turret 4.
It's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, we'll leave him in C tier for now. I think that's pretty fair. So next up we've got the Pee-wee, who wants to sort of start off.
I would put it... Okay, LF, go ahead.
Oh, no, okay. I don't like it that much. It's 25 gold, still only takes one hit from a boss on 10. I would probably also put it in C.
Yeah, just keep in mind we're talking about the upgrades.
If you do it in YOLO, I don't
included.
think it's that good either. Like, I usually don't like seeing it simply because the cost is already like pretty hefty.
I disagree, kinda, because I would put it, I think, in B.
I think I would also put it in B.
It's a good add for one-hitters to 3. It can YOLO alone. If you have a Ghoul or a Malf, it's a pretty good add. Yeah, with turret, it's a reason to reroll because it's 25 gold. But in general, it's alright, I guess.
Well, the unupgrade one is
you
really
can combine it very good with Clockwork, or you can go into a nice suicide when you just have it. So it's a very useful unit, I think. So for me, it's definitely an A tier. Yeah.
I like B. I mean, the unupgrade one is really trash for sure.
100%.
Yeah, but the upgrade one you can YOLO some in some cases.
I think it's actually quite a good YOLO if your other lanes have good rolls, because it's super bad on 1 and 2, but if you leak on 1 and 2 and feed better rolls, like that's not even a bad thing. And then it's got a really good increment for 5, so you have 600 value holds 5. Then you can generally hold 8 with like 8 to 900 if that's a good decision for you. I feel like leaving it in B personally. I don't think it's as good as these two for 1 to 10. I really don't.
Yeah, that's true. It's not that good, but yeah, for me it feels more like an A tier because the synergy with other towers is very good.
Well, maybe Acolyte on Spectre on S, then.
Yeah.
Nah, we still need some space on top, I think.
Let's put this in A. I think you've kind of convinced me now, and this is actually a pretty decent.
Really good already. A is good.
That's true.
A is good. Anyway, we'll come back to some of these in a little bit. I think how about at the end of each like tier of units, we do a little recap and just see if we're still happy.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next up, Rummy, you've got the N1ll.
The N1ll, I would personally put it in B. It's kind of useful on any level to prevent hits on your units, especially on 10. It's great. You can start Malf 3-0 with it, and it's only 10 gold. But yeah, it cannot be played alone, and it's a lot of food you need when you add a lot of N1lls. So personally, I would rate it in B.
I want to disagree.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I want to put it on S+. Because it's one of the 10 gold units, means like easy to add and all that. It has a poison ability and one of the best HP rates in the game. It has 60 HP for 10 gold. Like if you have that unit, if you just add pure N1lls on 10, you hold, no matter what you have.
Yeah, but we are talking from 1 to 10, so it's
you can also add it early, and it's great value. I would rather add one N1ll warrior. Or 2 N1ll warriors are way better already than the Pee-wee. And I think 1 N1ll warrior is almost as good as the Pee-wee already because of the poison ability.
I completely agree with LF, and I think the only problem is the farm with it, because it costs a farm if you put a lot of them, but it's insane.
Yeah.
On 10, it's super good.
For me, this
but even only you can use it as a blocker. You can do like 3 or 4 of them with any YOLO to YOLO even better. I love it. Just a farm problem, but issue. But...
Yeah, the farm issue is for me really important because you lose a lot of gold and often you're forced to sell it again, so you lose gold.
Yeah, but you don't lose a lot of gold from selling it.
I'm going to put my opinion in quickly. For me, this unit is like an A tier, tier 1, until you get to level 10, which is probably the most, like one of the 3 most important levels in the meta. And then it's like an S++ tower. It is one of the best towers on 10. So I think S+ is pretty fair, honestly. because
okay.
it's strength
That's
of
fine
like
for
a
me.
super important level. And then like it's okay on every other level as an add. Can't play it by itself, but that's not too big a deal when we're talking about tier 1s. Righty, next up, it's me again. Got the landmine. This is an interesting one because it's super synergy dependent. If you have AoE, it's probably in A tier. If you don't have AoE, I think it's all the way down in like F tier. It can do absolutely nothing. So I think I'm leaning towards putting it on C tier because it has some really nice applications early and it has some really nice applications on 7, but it does absolutely nothing with some other units, with a lot of other units. And it does absolutely nothing on, say, level 5 as well.
Yeah, like it has
Not sure.
4 waves where it's really good, and all the other waves it actually really does nothing. So 1, 2, 3, and 7, and everything else. It depends what you combine it with. Also for 1, 2, 3, and 7, but by itself, obviously, it's very likely to TK.
7 is also a key level. I would rate it way higher, at A tier, and it costs no food. You can always sell it later.
It does cost no food.
Yeah, I would rate it higher as well.
But after 7, it does nothing. So indeed, you can cover 7 for the team. But after 7, it's pure dead value. If you build 5 of them on 7, then it's completely useless. So I'm not a big
there's a lot
fan
of gold lost, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to split the difference? Because it is bloody good on 7.
Okay, let's do it. I would agree with C, and people are like, hey, let's do B.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and what in not only AoE it's useful. I mean, because for example, Vivan or Yeek, they don't one
It's
hit
true.
3, so you just have 1 mine. You damage like the half of the wave, and your unit will 1 hit even with Herb. So that's also a great add.
This is true.
You better be lucky to damage half of the way with a long
Yeah, a
knife.
lot of the time it just hits one bloody creep.
Yeah, it's some RNG dependent also on 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they do good, sometimes they do really bad. So
Yeah, but you just wanted to clear that you don't need AoE for it.
Yeah, you're right
So-
there. That is true.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily. It is best with AoE though in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, who wants to take the Orc? Who's a
No,
Wolverine
I'll take
lover?
that. So I think okay, YOLO, you might have to overbuild a bit on 5 and 8, but it's so luck dependent on 10. It can be by far the best unit for 10. It can also be very bad, like very bad. So since you can fully just YOLO it, like only that unit without anything else, I would at least put it on A.
Whoa.
So B for me, like B is the average. So is it really above average though?
Yeah, in my opinion, it is.
For me, it's the worst tier 1 we have for now. So I think B or E even. That's a shit YOLO, really. And you are so useless early.
Yeah, you're always
Maybe-
useless.
I'm a bit of a Wolverine
You got
hater
3.
myself. I hate this unit. I think it's
You
terrible.
got 3 and 6.
The best it can do is to hold 10, and you're not even sure to hold 10. And even if you do, you are dead value after 10. And yeah, it's indeed also a bad YOLO pre-10. I don't like it either.
I don't know about you guys, but with 650 Wolf, I never hold 5. I always
Yeah, I'm not
leave.
sure if it's the right choice to really go for Wolverine at 5. I think maybe it's better to go like 6, 620, 640.
Then it's not the real YOLO, no?
I would say that's still a YOLO. You don't have to build for 6.
640 is okay for a YOLO on 5. I mean, the Wolverine build is 650. And it
To
doesn't
be honest, in my
even
opinion,
hold.
it should be D or E.
Yeah, for me, it's
Yeah,
E.
for me it's
Bad.
For me,
I've
it's
taken
pretty
many
bad.
games with that unit already.
Sorry, Alaf.
All right, we'll
I
give you your
agree.
points, and we won't put it all the way down in E. But this is not an AT unit for me.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right, who wants?
As long as the cold is below.
Who wants to take Cult, or should I just put it here?
Yeah,
I think we don't have to comment on it and just put it there. Yeah.
agree.
The only
Agree.
thing I want to say is with the new boat ability, the harpoon, Rider is a little bit more useful if it drags the boss right to the Rider, but it's still just terrible. It's horrible.
And you mean it 3-shots the rider? Then that's useful.
Well, yeah, it has to not do that as
It's
well.
like 400 HP or something, right?
Yeah, and 200 range
Yeah.
or something. Anyway, it's a terrible unit. Just quickly, what makes it even bad as a blocker is it's really quick. It's flying, so it doesn't get blocked on other units. And it has a really high aggro range, so it tends to just run away from the wall and then drag your units off the wall and screw over your own focus. I think Cult is probably the only tier 1 where you'll make your focus worse about 50% of the time by adding it.
Yeah.
I just hate this
Agreed.
unit so much. Right, next, because yeah, it's just terrible. Who wants to take the Murloc?
I would rate it a C. It's it can take 1 hit for 10 gold and 1 food. Yeah, it's kind of like N1ll until 10, but it has no poison. It's sometimes a good add just to take some hits and prevent your units to get damage.
So,
It can have poison if you upgrade it,
mm,
but the other upgrade is better, I think. The other upgrade is probably comparable to Ghoul.
I like the Fangtooth. I was not a believer of the Fangtooth, then I tried it, and it was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. It feels the same as Ghoul early on. So for me, this is not a C tier. For me, this is like a B tier.
Well, it's better than the N1ll3 for me. Yeah, I think B is fine.
This is a B tier unit for
Yours.
me.
But would you say it's worse than PV?
I would, yeah. I think Veteran's better.
I disagree with the Pee-wee. For me, it's better than Pee-wee, but yeah. I mean, I did the YOLO. I was watching your video, LF, with Phantos YOLO, and I tried it, and it's indeed comparable to Ghoul, but the YOLO itself is really comparable to Veteran YOLO. It's the same value to all 6, to all 5, to all 4. Well, it's weaker on 3. Yeah, for me, it's better than Pee-wee.
By that logic,
Maybe we're doing this then. I feel like Pee-wee moving down makes more sense than Murloc moving up to me, though. And like, unupgraded Murloc is better than Pee-wee as well.
Yeah.
I think we might sort of trial this for now and just see how we feel about it.
Yeah.
Neil, what do you think?
About the Pew? Yeah, I think the Pew is a bit better. I like the YOLO more, but it's fine like this. It's between B and A. So that's fine.
Well, if you compare the two YOLO, I forgot to say something. On 8, you die with Phantos, and you
That's
don't
true.
die with Veteran.
Yeah, but it's fine like this.
Even so, I think like small Murloc, if you're just using it as a blocker, is so much better than Pee-wee. Like the unupgraded version of Murloc, much better than 25 gold bloody Pee-wee. Righty, who feels like taking the Parasite?
Ooh, hard one.
This is obviously... How about I start off with it? So, Parasite is the most role-dependent tier 1, because obviously you can't build it on its own, right? It's entirely reliant on other units. So if you have like a big bloody unit to build it on, like a Hydra or Fire Overlord, things like this, then it's probably in the like S+ tier. If you don't, then it's in the F tier. So it's really hard to rate this. I think just putting it on the average tier and just saying like, this unit it's not rateable on its own. That's just how it is. But, you know, it's just such a high variance. If you've got a good unit to Parasite, it feels really good. If you've got something like Aqua, it's just not even worth building.
For me, it's still higher than the B. I mean, if you just don't play it, if you don't have the role for it, And sometimes it's even good with some YOLO, like with EA, it's okay. Well, it's really bad with Mouth. It's really bad with Aqua. It's really bad with Turret. With Disciple, it's really bad also. Yeah, I think it should be on A at least. I would rate it on A.
What do some of you guys reckon about the Parasite?
If we put the Parasite on A, we need to put the Acolyte and the Spectre on S. That's not on one level for me.
Yeah.
That's true.
Parasite still costs 1 food.
It's true.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and the most useful it's with the big units, and then you are always short with farm, and you need 80 wood more when you are low push anyway.
Yeah, but with big units, it
You
would
can't just
even
sell
be,
it,
S++.
You can't just sell it separately
Yeah.
like the other tier ones when you need 1 farm or something.
I was so often stuck because of this one farm and that one Parasite.
Yeah, and you're just looking at it, and it's like, I'd much rather have a Wisp right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think B tier is fair, but it's like, it is a really high variance.
Yeah.
Alrighty, who feels like taking Mr. Peasant?
Okay, I take it because it's easy. You can put it with the cult, no?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I would say it's better than a cold, so
I agree,
I
it's
don't
better
want to
than
have
the
it on
Colt.
F. I want to have it on E. I think the upgraded peasant has decent YOLO chances. They're just not being used
never
yet.
seen it being YOLO.
I've never seen it either.
I don't really want to play it on Lille, but I think you can play it, and if you have good ads like a captain or something, it can be quite useful. I think
I would just play Captain YOLO at that point.
And that's actually tier 1 I would add for level 10 instead of the Colt, which I wouldn't want to add.
Yeah, well, for me, the only difference is the movement speed. And the cult is running your focus indeed, but the peasant is not running front way too fast. That's the only way I see it better than cult. I don't know the upgrade one at all. I've never played it.
Does that make it E tier though? That it's actually not too bad of a blocker? I guess so. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. Who wants to take the Bone Warrior then?
I take the Bone Warrior then. That's for me an S tier. Roll it. And Dark Mage is pretty strong. Yeah, for a big unit. So it's definitely an S tier.
I agree completely, honestly. I think it might even be higher.
Yeah, same for me. I think it's even higher.
Really?
You can do everything with it. You can YOLO with the Skeletor, with clocks, or even if you have nothing else in roll, you can just YOLO the Skeletor. You can do the Dark Mage with big units, or you can just add it as an archer for 10. You have so many options.
Yeah, but the Skeletor YOLO is not a really good YOLO. And
But
the Dark Mage is a bit better than Parasite. Well, maybe way better
It's a
than
lot
Parasite.
better.
Yeah. Okay. But the Skeletor YOLO is... I wouldn't even consider it because, okay, it's playable, but it's not really
The
good.
Suicide YOLO. You mostly end up suiciding when you...
Yeah. I feel like this is S+, honestly. I'm looking at N1ll, and for me, N1ll is... I'm not happier to see N1ll than I am to see Dark Mage. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Even early, like, I just love seeing Dark Mage. It's just good with so many things.
Yeah, but pre-10, it's like...
Even pre-10, man, it's so good.
Yeah, not so many units. Although YOLO, you don't run the Dark Mage, except EA. Sometimes, if they send to. And it's good with Hydra, Grey, Wyvern.
I mean,
What
for me,
else?
Dark Mage is good on every single hold. Like, there's no tier 6 that it's bad with. I don't think there's any tier 5 that it's bad with, except, like, maybe Ship. Or I guess Disciple. But even then, like, I think it's super good, man. I really do. I think it's just insane.
Well, with Yig, it's not so good. With ADs, it's not so good. With Blaster, you probably don't want to stay 2-0 on 7 with 3
Yeah,
Blaster
you missed
on
the
that
gold
side.
for that then, yeah.
Uh,
It's useful in some circumstances. I'm not sure if... I mean, the Skeletor YOLO, if you go by that logic, it's probably B tier.
Nah, Skeletor's
Like,
C.
probably as good as the Fangtooth. But with
Yeah.
the Dark Mage and with the chance of having like multiple options if you have that unit, I think it can be S. But not more than that.
Alright, yeah, I'm hearing the arguments for S. We'll leave it at S. Fair enough. What are we thinking about a Tuskar?
No, I would put it on C as the and just a small blocker for 20 gold. Unfortunately, not heavy armor as the end, but you can up it for 10 to have a slow. Yeah, that's basically it.
I agree completely.
but-
It's worse than the Ent, but the upgrade is actually useful for 10.
Yeah, if it had more range, maybe it would be better. But
Yeah.
with the range it has, it's not that good 10 because it usually dies early.
Yeah. I think that we're all pretty happy to put it at like a bit below average. Righty, next up, Proton. Anyone sort of keen? I don't even know what to think about this.
I can take it. For me, it's the worst range tier 1, I guess, if you compare
Yeah,
to
I think
all
that's fair.
the range tier 1. The upgrade is not playable. And it's good with mouth, but
Where are you thinking then?
I think about C.
Yeah, that's for me as well. Even though it's ranged, it's so short range that it doesn't even feel like it half the time. It ends up dying pretty quick. It's got like slow attack speed, weird damage. I don't know. I just haven't found a way to sort of make it work.
But I think Warrior is better for me. Because you can, in that role, you can solo play Warrior. But so I would put in the...
That's a pretty convincing argument for me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Orc Warrior is at least better.
You put it at D. Come on, guys. Now suddenly it's better, huh?
Between LF and his Wolverines and Andor and his bloody birds, we're going to be here for a while. Alrighty, second to last tier 1. Got the Engineer. So who wants to take that?
Not me.
Not me.
Okay, if you guys don't want, I think because you can YOLO it that well, and it allows very, very good push early on. And well, if the game was slow and all, like if it was slow and all that, then you can possibly even like recover really nice, have great income and all that. I would probably put it at S+. Keeping in mind that of course it has some weak waves, but people found a way around that by just full pushing and then building up again afterwards. Yeah, it's a bit tricky, but I think it's of all the tier 1s, it's the best YOLO for sure.
I agree on that. And for suicide play for a game, it's one of the best units, and yeah, really one of the best early YOLOs for sure.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. You just get to push so quickly. And of course you have the option to be like quite strong later if the game goes well for it. Or you just, as most games tend to go a bit quicker, you just end up with like the most efficient suicide in the game.
Yeah, S+ seems fine.
Yeah. Alrighty, have we got any parrot lovers?
Oh, okay, easy one. S++.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
I'm not sure people noticed yet the power of this unit. It's just insane. It's good with the yellow. It's good with the holders on 10, and this unit do
the upgrade
crazy
sucks
damage.
though.
The upgrade is
Yeah, the
horrendous,
upgraded
but
one
it
sucks.
doesn't matter.
Do I really think it's better than N1ll?
I really do. I
Yeah.
think it's better than N1ll. I think it's as good as N1ll on 10, and I think it's so insane with any AoE for like the rest of the game. Like you
Yeah.
can play 2 elite archers, 2 parrots, and hold 5. 2 elite archers, 1 small parrot. 2 elite archers, 1 small archer, and then 2 to 3 parrots will hold 6.
Yeah.
Like it's just
And
crazy.
it does between 150 damage and 200 damage to boss on 10. Just as a blocker, it's crazy.
Like, this thing is absolutely insane.
I even think this unit needs a nerf.
Yeah.
But well,
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
all
think
the
so
S++ units probably need that, to be fair.
yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I think it needs a nerf, but then other units would need a nerf too. I would still put it as plus, but if you guys want to put it on the top level, then go for it.
I think like when I see this unit and I either want to hold 10 or have AoE, it's just my eyes light up. It's just so insane.
Yeah, to any AoE YOLO, it's the best tier 1 you can have.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Righty. That does it for tier 1. I reckon that's a pretty good looking spread as well. Is there anything?
I want to say, yeah. I think the Acquire indeed don't deserve this D. It should be just in C with Tuskar and
Yeah.
no. What
Yeah,
do
I'm
you guys
inclined to agree.
They're just so comparable, and Wolverine maybe it's a bit weaker than ENT and Tuskar itself, but yeah, at least
But
you
it
have
has the option
Wolverine.
to actually be played by itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks better this way.
Yeah.
Proton is also D, man. The chaos damage to any of the pierce damage YOLOs, and you hold 6. It's always not so bad. I feel the D was correct for the warrior.
I disagree.
That unit is fully YOLOable. Like, if you have just that unit, that's enough. Like, you can have everything else is trash, but you can at least do that then, you know?
Yeah.
But all the other units, that's a useless tier 1.
I personally don't
for
want to
early.
move this Proton.
Yeah, well, I like it a lot with Malf, but except Malf, it's pretty strong on 4, in my opinion, when you have middle units to YOLO. I think D, it's okay for this.
Alrighty, I reckon let's just move on and call the Proton a DT unit. So let's move on to the tier 2s now, and we're starting with Mr. Novice. Anyone wants to take the easy road out with this one?
I can.
You can put it in D, or
In D?
even E.
Really?
Or
Yeah.
E.
It's E or F, no?
I would
It's
put
the
it
worst.
like here. Is there a tier below this? I hate this
No,
unit.
I put it in E. Just like the upgraded peasant, you can YOLO it. Worst case scenario, you can.
But it's
Yeah.
really bad on 3. It's on 3.
It's terrible
That's the
on
main
3. It's
problem.
bleh on
You
It's,
4.
die
it's not even
it's
that
dead
terrible.
on
Even though
5.
it doesn't one-shot there, it's still kind of decent.
It's the weakest.
And if you have captain, it's actually really, really good.
But how do you all
And it's
fight?
also very, very good for 4. 450
Yeah,
value
okay.
holds 4 without any problem.
Like, you're
So-
giving me this reason of if you have captain, but for me, I would just play captain YOLO.
If you have captain, it's C at least. But like
I would
this,
rather
it's
just
E.
play captain rather than mixing numbers in, I
Ah.
think.
But even if you have captain, you can't even hold 5 with this. It's just so weak on 5. I mean,
Yeah, 5 is a bit different. Yeah.
I think it's F you did for me.
Yeah,
I think it's F.
Is it as bad as the cold? I don't know.
I
man.
really think it is. I think it's just so overpriced.
I think I really have to show you guys some YOLOs of the E and
you
F
want
tiers.
it 3.
For me, you just die on 5, so you're suicide level 4. And
Yeah,
you're
there's other
pretty
units
weak.
where you die in 5.
Yeah,
Happens.
but not when you're like 2-0 for 3.
No, you're not.
I I don't know,
But
man.
it's okay.
I don't
Put
like
it on
this unit.
F.
I do want to put it on F, but what do all you guys sort of reckon?
For me, it's F2.
Yeah, for me it's F.
Yeah, I think it's going down here. Every time I see someone with a Crusader, like every single time I've seen it, especially on like FPG, I've looked over at the rest of their roll and gone like, fuck, you had like 5 better options. Alrighty, moving on.
At least it one hit 3. When your team sucks 3, you can at least cover it, so it has more use than the fucking gold.
Alright, we'll put it in front of the gold. I don't know. Maybe it's only
leave
E,
it at
but
that.
I hate it. Anyway, Landlubber. Who wants to take that? One of the new units.
Romy, you played it a lot. Take it.
I personally like it. I'm just not sure where I should rate it. You can play safe level 1 to 5 with a decent YOLO. Past 5, it's kind of dead value. It's sometimes a good add for 7. The undead one, yeah, I think the undead one is useless, but the alive one is pretty okay with Malf, with LOD, or even alone. I think I would rate it in B.
I agree with that. I think it is very much the definition of average.
Yeah. Really, really good with Malf, by the way. We played it a few games.
Yeah.
Me and
I think
Romy.
it's one of the best adds for Malf.
Yeah, better than Panoran or Ghoul with Malf, for sure.
Yeah,
Better than Ghoul,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
It's great.
Alrighty, I'll have to give it a go. Alrighty. How about Elite Archer? Who wants to get the easy one?
I take the Archer then. Yeah, it's S+ here for me. Maybe even S++ is very nice YOLO. You can cover 5, for example. You can even hold. One of the best holds with Hydra 7. So
Is there
Yeah.
any scenario where you wouldn't go Elite Archer if you have it?
not really.
Hello,
So
Digo.
S++ then.
I think it's just that insane.
I mean, okay,
the
you
only
can start
time I
LD
wouldn't
and go into EA afterwards, but you still play EA kinda.
the only time I wouldn't play Elite Archer is when I have LOD and like really good anti-10 in my role, and the team needs cover on level 10. That's like
Yeah, when
literally
you
the
need
only time.
a carry role in the team. Because indeed, when you play EA, most of the time you're not the lane who gonna mid 15. So
You're the lane who sends the birds.
Even if you have a
You're
really
there to
good,
provide lumber.
carry roll,
Yeah.
the carry roll, you always build 1 or 2 archers at least, because that makes your YOLO so strong. And
yeah, that's true. That's true.
then
But yeah,
But we all know that playing, for example, 2 EA into Hydra on 7 and getting another Hydra on 10 usually doesn't end up good for 10. I mean, I don't know if you always play 2 EA if you have them, but yeah.
I think like in the high,
you know.
in like 98% of the time you have this unit, you play it. Whenever you see it, you're happy to see it. It's just like quintessentially good. There's not much to say about it. I think it's just good. It's super flexible as well. You can hold, you can YOLO. Most people YOLO, but like it's not even a bad 7 holder if you have good ads.
Yep.
So yeah, I think S++ is its home. Alrighty, Wanderer. I might take this one. I haven't done one for a little while. For me, the Wanderer is... Whoa. I've got to put it A tier. I really like Solar Villain.
Oh, A! Really?
No,
I mean-
B. Now I'm looking at it more. But yeah, Wanderer as like a 50 gold tier 2 is pretty weak. Soul of Hero, I feel like there's some way to make it work, but no one I've seen has found it. I certainly haven't. But the Solar Villain is really, really nice for 10.
Yeah, but it's the only purpose of this unit. I mean, only for 10, and it's not...
Yeah, sadly only 10.
10, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, for me it's even worse.
But I mean, we have Tuskar and C, so it has to be at least B. So yeah. I think it's correct there.
At least Tuskar, you can play it early. I think Tuskar, the unupgrade one, is better than Wanderer.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
Oh,
But
I think
School
the
of
Wanderer
Elaine is
itself
better.
is not that bad. It's okay early on.
I don't like the Wanderer.
I mean, as an add, of course, not as a unit by itself, but if you just add it, if you just need like that extra 50 value or something, I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the best choice really, but you know, like it's okay.
Me, it's D or E tier. Nearly never build it. Also for 10, I don't like Sword of Elaine so much.
Yeah, you need a lot of tanks, and you need to be alive a long time. That it's really useful, like LOD or Hydra, or it's just a waste of value.
Yeah, I think it should be C. Okay, it's a bit
D
better
or E
than
is harsh
Tuskar.
for me. I don't mind it C.
For me, it's not as good as the other B.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. I think C's alright. I think it's better than D or E though. For me at least. Righty, moving on. Infantry. Who wants to take that?
Okay, I take it.
Yeah.
I love this unit.
Yeah.
I know, like we talked about it some months ago, and Avada hates it really hard. I think Zeus is not so bad with many setup on 10. It's insane. It's the best pull unit of the game for 10 to just pull the boss and have good focus. And even earlier, you can just finish the units. It does the last hit really quickly, so you don't have waste damage on your big unit. Like when Hydra attacks the Dino on 10, you have your Zeus who can finish them, which is really good. So you don't have your Hydra to hit twice the Dinos. And yeah, I like it with Alder's roll for 10. After 10, indeed, it's really bad. The infantry is pretty good also, I think.
Yeah, I like
I
small
would
infantry.
I
I
love
would
it.
rate it in, I think, A.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, that's fair to me.
AOS prevents your for so much dead damage. That's really sick, as you said before. AOS.
It's A tier
Yeah,
for me, I think.
maybe even S for me. Between A and S, yeah. I'm not sure.
Alrighty, we
What do you think?
might leave it here for now, and then we'll sort of have a look at the tier 2s as we come back. Alright, Servant. I'll
F.
just drop it here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to be below Wanderer for sure. Yeah, honestly, it's worse than Peasant, so yeah.
Yeah,
F is
it's
okay.
just bad. Like, it doesn't do any damage.
I think
it doesn't
honestly,
tank.
the Novice is better than the Servant.
I do agree
But
that
that's
Novice
just
is
me.
better than Servant, but I think it's like, you know, apples and oranges.
But you sometimes build with Servant when you need a one-hit unit. When you need an early one-hitter. It
Yeah,
doesn't
with
matter.
medium armor. Nice.
Right. Poor trash.
Yeah.
Well, it's just F. I think we don't need to discuss much about it.
It's pretty bad, for sure. Right, who wants to take Ogre?
Oh, I love it.
I like this
Oh, I
unit
think
as
it's
well.
it's so good add to so many rolls, and it's heavy armor 30 gold, high HP for 30 gold, bash on 10, good add for 6 again for the PS YOLOs, for example turrets, or you can even hold warriors with 2 turrets and 2 ogres on one. I love this unit. I would personally rate it as an A.
I 100% agree. I like it. I think it's solid.
For me, it's not as good as infantry, but indeed, it's a good unit.
I really
would
like
put
the
it
cheap
in
tier
D.
2s.
Do you really think it's as good as infantry?
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I have like 2 ogres, I'm as happy as when I have an infantry. With like the majority of the rolls for level 10 as well, I think it's good.
Okay, fine.
Alrighty, next, moving on, Geomancer. I might take this one.
Go to watch some good videos. Then
I like it.
Came across this. Let's see.
Alright, welcome Pablo. We've got someone else joining. So just very quickly, this is
Oh,
a
I
tier
can
list
hear
of the units from level 1 to 10, okay? So focusing on 1 to 10. So for me, Geomancer, I really like the Clockwork YOLO. I think it's a decent YOLO 1 to 5, but you do need to add something else for 6. And I think if you have nice adds, it's a really good basis for a hold as well, since they're just really tanky on 7. So I like this unit. I would put it in A tier.
Which unit?
Clockwork with
For
Geomancer.
me, it's S tier.
It's
Well,
definitely
yeah,
higher than A.
S tier for me also.
Are so safe and have so many options. When you have 2 Geos, you can go holder, you can YOLO nice with the Greyman. You all kind of always have an option to have a nice build and have a really safe play.
Clock TS, Clock AOD, Clock Grey, or just YOLO. Yeah, this is so good.
Yeah.
It
It's
could
a good
even
unit.
be
It's
S
not S
plus
plus for
maybe.
me.
Yeah, it's S. No, I agree definitely. It's between A and a bit above S, but not S plus. Depending on the circumstances, of course.
Yeah,
So,
fair.
just a quick question: what am I supposed to judge? The ones below or the ones already in the tables?
No. So we're going from this top left one here. You can see at the bottom. That's the next one to go in.
Okay.
So anyway, do you want to take the Corrupted Ant then? Where do you think it fits? B tier is like average, and then obviously worse or better.
Corrupted Ant. I'd put it. Well, actually, I'd put it. It's, in my opinion, a bit above B, but below A.
So we don't have a tier in between B and A. So I'll pop it in B for now. And what do you guys reckon?
That's fine for me. It's definitely it's weaker than Ogre in for sure. But you can start nice, and yeah, it's a good start to play it. Upgrade is shit, but it's a useful unit, so it's an average B unit. It's fine for me.
I agree
For
with
me,
that.
it's really comparable to Ogre, but
It is. I think
Okay.
Ogre's better though.
Ogre is better, for sure.
Ogre is better. That's why I wouldn't put it in A. That's the whole point.
But
Ogre is better. That's why no A.
But Ogre, you can't just only YOLO that, and Corrupted End is like a really good start in comparison to Ogre.
I think you can just YOLO Ogre though.
Yeah, but it's dead at some point, no?
So is
Yes,
Corrupted
Because
Ant
of the
without
heavy armor,
ads.
I mean, Corrupted End
Vent
has
is
a 2,
more
but Corrupted End
dead.
holds like so good 1 and 3.
And 4.
Yeah, like
But Corrupted Ant is more dead value than Ogre, in my opinion.
well, I think a Corrupt Ant is better 1, 2, 3, 4 than Ogre, but Ogre is better 6, better 10.
Yeah, it's in general a better ad, and at the end, the Corrupted End, you can play solo.
Yeah.
I think Ant is fair on B. I don't think it's as good as Ogre.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on.
Okay, fine.
Got Mr. Ghoul who wants to jump in and take that.
Okay, but why is Cult worse than Peasant? That's my question.
Okay, so they're the same goal. Peasant is tankier. Cult is faster, so it runs further away from the wall and screws over your focus more.
Okay, that was just my question. That's it. No problem.
Right, anyway, moving on. Ghoul. What do you guys reckon about Ghoul?
See?
No, it's a good YOLO, a good ad for some roles. I would probably rate it as a B.
I think it's a B tier unit. Decent YOLO by itself. Really nice ad for some YOLOs like Mouth or Veteran. Like anything that's good on level 5, I feel like, and a bit weaker on level 6, Ghoul like adds into that super well.
Yeah.
yeah, Ghoul is so strong 6.
Yeah.
You say
I'm
6
okay with
or
that.
6? I don't know if it's strong in 6, but for 6 it's okay.
I mean, look at this
No,
face, man.
with 600, I've held many times already Ascend on 6 with 600.
Yeah, Ghoul is nice, especially if you feed at level 1. Like if you start with it, I'm all support for it.
I added it just yesterday. I played Clockwork and I added Ghoul for 6. That also was kind of good. I mean, I already added Ghoul for 5, but I did really good 6. I had no issue at all just by adding that one Ghoul. I think it's really good.
I think it's fair to put it in B tier though, because like it's a solid YOLO, a good add to some units and good on level 6, but there's nothing like super special about it for me.
I agree.
Alrighty, who wants to take the Warlock? Start us off with him.
I take it. It's from 1 to 10, right?
Yep, 1 to 10.
So an upgrade 1 is really good on 1 because it one shot. I think any other level it's bad. It's good, but then it's good on 10. It's good on 1, and then any other level for me it's really bad. So it's still better than Soul of Villain for sure.
It is.
So for me, yeah, considering from level 1 to 10, it's a B.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with
an
that.
upgrade 1 is really bad. On 2, it's the worst unit of the game, maybe.
Yeah, it is. Actually, is Warlock or Crab worse?
It's the same. It's the same, but Crab you can sell. Warlock you lose a lot more gold.
This is true.
Yeah. I think B is fine.
Yeah. So this is one of the ones where our rating system for the early game kind of skews this a lot more than it would with most units. I think it makes it clearer with like 80% of units when they're good and when they're not so much. With Warlock, it's like a little bit more hazy because this unit is actually quite good. It's just not that good, except for level 1 and then level 10. But it gets quite good again later in the game. Is that fair to say? We're all happy with B for the early game though?
Yeah.
Cool. I might take Mr. Spider. For me, Mr. Spider is A tier. It's Small Spider is like pretty good on 1 and 2. It's pretty weak on 3. It's like not very good on 4, 5, 6. But it's okay on 7. It's not too bad on 8, and it's really good on 10. So this for me is like a pretty nice unit to have for my 1 to 10 as a 10 hold.
Yeah, fine for me.
Yeah, fine.
Fine.
Alrighty, who wants to jump?
If you compare to the other unit, A, I think it fits completely.
It fits, yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. So, who wants to take the next one? Ranger.
I take the next one. Only a B tier. It's kinda unplayable early because it's so weak from the stats. At level 10, it's pretty strong. So, yeah, playable unit, but no YOLO unit, and only useful for 1 level. So, yeah.
Yep, fair enough. I'm inclined to agree.
It's never as good as infantry or crawler, so yeah.
I like it as an ad for Malf, because in the first level it's 1 hit stun.
Yeah, but you like it as an ad for Mouth because when you have Mouth, you're like, anything that is ranged is nice.
Yeah.
Like, Proton is nice with Mouth, and we've put it in D tier. But if I have Mouth, I'm pretty happy to see Proton if I don't have a ranged tier 2.
Alright.
Alright, next. Who wants the free one?
I want to.
Yeah?
To the top, please.
Yeah.
Do we have to explain it even?
I kind of want to say it like it's not as good as Archer, but it is.
It is.
It is.
It's even better, no?
It's even better, yeah, it's even better.
I like Archer more.
No, I'm with Epic. I like Archer more, but yeah.
No, it's so much better because you can hold 10, you can hold 15, and Archer is just that value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the thing
Archer
you
is the bank usually in mid game, and Aqua is older.
Insane.
Yeah.
Can I take the wolf?
12 and 16 when we talk about the mid game. And
Yeah,
Aqua
yeah,
of
yeah.
block
Okay.
unit, that can be very shitty, also early. But yeah, S plus or S plus is fine.
I think it's good here. Like, you can get away with building so, like, little value of this going into the mid game and still have, like, such a good income to build, like, strong units for whatever wave you want to build for. It's just such a good base. And it's, like, really...
On 10, it's definitely, if we just consider early game, it's for sure better than EA on 10.
Yeah.
And pretty
Come
much
on.
the same YOLO ability, maybe better early push, but on 9 you need to rebuild compared to EA.
Aqua is not better on 10 than EA.
Oh,
You can.
man,
No,
compare
you have
EA,
to-
It
EA
takes 2
Necro.
hits to die, so that's already a good point. And then if you have some range behind it, you can actually hold 10 pretty well.
Yeah, so
I think level
Archers.
10 is not the main point of these two, though. Realistically,
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
point
yeah.
of these two is they just let you push a lot, which is good. So they're insane. I think there's not a whole lot else to say, is there?
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's down to preference which one you like more.
Yeah, that's true. But just one thing, Niels, I think you have better chance to hold 10 with Aqua Necro than EA Necro.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Can't talk about the ads. When you can try to solo hold with Archers, and sometimes you really do okay.
Yeah,
But
This is
with
true.
Aqua-
1500 value of Aqua on 10 is going to be a bad
Okay,
time.
guys, if we're gonna talk about solo hold, level 10 Parrot is the best unit for solo hold level 10.
Probably. Alrighty, moving on to Mr.
I want a
Dog.
wolf.
Who wants to take
I
the
want a
dog?
wolf.
Yep, go for it.
Me. A category, in my opinion, because it's a good unit from level 1 to level 6. And after that, you usually, without anything good, you just usually suicide. It's not geo category where you have good early cold. You can mix it up with good units. In my opinion, but again, it's better than all of B category. In my opinion, for early game, maybe it's a bit in between A and B, but I would place it in A category and not in B category.
Do you think Panderin's better than Ghoul and better than Veteran?
Oh wait.
Oh, that's veteran. That's not
Yeah, it's
because.
veteran.
No,
Yeah, it's the same icon.
Yeah. Well,
For me, it's B
if
tier.
that's veteran,
even C.
yeah.
For me, it's
I
even
would-
more
I
worse.
agree. For me, it's B or C, man.
For me,
If
it's
that's veteran, yeah, then it's B for sure. If that was PV, I would put it a bit better.
Oh, we're
PV.
talking about like upgrades and unupgrades. Yeah, sorry, I just used this one because it's what I found first.
Okay. Then it's.
I
B.
think
Then
it's
B.
even worse, man. The only time I play Panda is when I have Malf. Otherwise, I just skip it always.
Panda on 3 feels super bad.
It feels super bad on levels. So you
Good
rip
on 5.
1, you rip 3 versus BO, you rip 4. I don't like it.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Between
that good either.
veteran, yeah, I dislike Ghoul because Ghoul can literally RNG die. That's why I think Panda is a bit better than Ghoul in my opinion in that regard. But in general, yeah, it's worse than veteran for sure. If that's veteran, I'm completely agree with B.
For me, this goes down to C, honestly. I think I would rather YOLO like any of these sort of YOLOable units than Panda.
Honestly, I'd play most of the units above it, but even Orcs I would play rather than Panda. But yeah.
I think Panda can sit here. I think that's fair.
Fine for me.
Alright, who wants to take Exac?
Yeah, put it to S+.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Super tanky. Good with like every build.
Yeah.
Not every, but nearly every build.
Every single range unit and like the majority of melee units, especially early on.
I agree.
So let's have a look at the tier 2 split then quickly. We've got a few of them up the top and then like concentrated around A and B and 2 like dumpster fires, but tier 2 is pretty
Let's
good.
talk about Act, please, because for me it's A tier. It's for sure not S tier. You build Yeah, mostly you build just 1 or 2, and yeah, it's just.
But they help a lot.
Totally
If you
useless.
build one, it helps a lot.
Yeah, but it's even in the early game it becomes useless. 10, for example, and yeah, it helps a lot, but yeah, it's not a game-changing
Building
unit.
one of
Yeah,
them,
but
like
but when
proc-
when you build X, you're not a 10 holder, so you are most likely a YOLO or even maybe a suicide later. But it's so useful for so many roles.
Well,
I
for
love
me,
it.
it's never better than Geomancer, man.
Yeah, but for me,
It's,
S+ is game-changing, and an exec is not game-changing for me.
I agree with Niels. It should be.
if you say game changing, then exec is game changing though. Because if it procs and then instead of 265 HP, it basically tanks for like 500, 600, 700, then that's so much value out of that 50 gold unit.
Oh, I
That
love
can help you
Exec,
so
man.
much.
I'm so with you, LF. I love Exec.
I can get around the argument that it's not really better than Clock. I'm not really happier to see Egg than I am to see Clock or to see Dark Mage. So I can live with it on S tier. I think it's better than these though. I honestly think it's better than these. Is everyone sort of okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on. Tier 3s. First one up.
Before we start, can I ask? Can we let Captain Dodo to rank Captain, please?
Oh yeah, it's Dodo favorite unit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Should we
No.
put it up there? Alright, who actually wants to take Captain?
It's tricky.
Yeah, it is.
Early game, it's a bad unit most of the time. It works with some synergy with some setups for specific
Pig, Wyvern, and
levels.
Blaster are the three that come to mind for me.
Harlot and Captain for
Harlot,
7 2-hit for.
Yeah, Blaster,
Yeah, but in
Captain.
general, I dislike it.
Even-
it just
even
runs
big,
in
it's good.
front.
What are we thinking?
But
B or
B
C.
maybe.
For me, honestly,
see.
early game, I think it's a C tier unit. I don't like it early on.
I think it's, for me, it's D.
D?
Nah, it's not D. Not for me.
I would put it
The
in
unit
B.
itself is, but with the aura, and since it's one-shotting like 3, I think it
Oh,
can be better
if
than
you
that.
remove the aura, it's down here for sure, but the aura is really helpful.
Just sometimes, not always.
Well, Aleph is right. The good thing is that you one-shot 3. It's still not really good because of medium armor. Early game, you don't really need the aura, so.
Nah, even on 3 it can be helpful already. With Ick, for example.
With some units,
Yeah.
it's helpful.
Okay,
And by the
okay,
time you
that's
get
right.
to like
That's-
8, 9, 10,
that's reasonable.
like Captain is often worth adding just like on 10 sort of thing with a lot of builds, just because it gives a lot of damage if you have a bunch of summons or a bunch of small units. So what are you thinking? It's B or C for me.
Me, it's C.
C is fine.
No. Okay, moving on. We've got Footman. What do we think? So if we remove the fact that it upgrades into guard, if we pretend it doesn't have an upgrade, it goes in F, because small footman is just like horrendous. It's so squishy. But guard, I actually quite like it. For me, it's a C tier.
I would rate it D or even E, man. I don't like it. It's so much gold compared to its stats.
Oh, but it's playable. You can't. It's never E. It's a D or C. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a bit of
agree
a
to
soft
roll.
spot for guard, I'll be honest.
I think D or E. It's too expensive. For 160 gold,
Yeah, too expensive.
Yeah.
Alright, I can live with putting it in D. Alright. For this next unit, Rummy, keep in mind this is level 1 to level 10.
Since the Thunderbird has buffed attack speed, I think it's the most underrated unit at the moment for 15 and also other levels. With Dark Mage and Thunderbirds, it's great. You are safe. All levels can YOLO except for level 8. For me, it's an A.
An A, early game. No, early game, it's not so good.
You can YOLO good and you will be strong.
Oh, you don't
lane.
YOLO so good. You're like 5-1, level 5 if you YOLO it.
This is not a better YOLO than Ghoul for me. I'm happy to put it on
But
B.
it's not that value later on.
Yeah, that's true, but
I don't think we consider this.
we haven't been.
Okay,
but
then put it in B.
Yeah. That
But
being
it's
said,
better
like,
than Ranger. It's
I
better
like-
than
I
N,
like
it's
Sprite.
better than Landlubber.
Sprite is really, really good early on.
Oh, I love
Like the
Sprite.
first
It's-
couple waves, the first 4
Yeah,
waves.
level
Even
1 is
5 it's
great.
good.
It's better than B. I like it in A.
No, man, the YOLO level 5 and level 6 is really an 8. You don't have good push with this.
On 5 it's not even that bad. 6 is the issue. 6 and 8, yeah.
the thing
Yeah,
the thing
6
I
and
don't
8.
like about Sprite is that you're weak on 6, you're weak on 7, and you're weak on 8. In any kind of fast game, it's super hard to recover with 3 weak levels in a row.
Yeah, but it's super good on 9 again. So there, if you have just 900 value, you hold it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, level 1, level 2, it's crazy. It's insane.
It is insane 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
So B is fair, I think.
It's not an AT unit for me. It is good, but it's not an AT unit for me.
Yeah, but if I compare it with Corrupted End or Ranger or Landlubber, or even Warlock, it's so much better than them.
At which level?
All, man, I would always prefer this tower in my role. What? Yeah, man, leave it in B, it's fine.
The point, as you said, is that it's not that it's really good value for 15. So if you start with it, then you're in a good position for mid game. But if you talk about strictly early game, for me, it's not. It's never A.
I think this is another
Yeah.
unit that a little like Warlock sort of is getting screwed
Yeah.
over by the confines of our tier list, but I feel like it does still make more sense to do it this way, because otherwise, just if we're talking about the whole game, like so many units are just F tier that are irrelevant later on.
Yeah, true.
Alrighty, moving on. Gate Guard for me, C tier.
Yes.
Yeah, agree.
I think it's like
we can
Is it
also
really
talk
as good
about
as
Vader.
Panda and all that stuff?
I think it is.
Okay, Raider is the same unit, by the way.
No, it's not the same.
One of them's slightly weaker, but I think they're still on the same tier.
So I think they have exactly the same
They
stuff.
used to, but like 2 years ago there was a patch that changed them.
Really?
Yeah, one of
Yes,
them's a bit
Broda
weaker
can
now.
probably confirm.
Yeah, one of them's weaker. I forget which, but one of them's better and one of them's worse.
One of them has like different HP and the other one has more attack speed or something like that. It's something
Is
that
that it?
direction.
Okay. I mean, they're still pretty much the same unit. I think it's fine to put them in C.
Or I think the summons of one unit are like squishier and therefore have more damage. It's something along those lines.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I agree. For me, it's C, both of them.
Who wants to take the Harpy? Do we have any Harpy lovers?
I can take it.
Yeah, go.
I think it's only good on 10. So it's really, really, really bad early game.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
I think if you have Sea Giant with RP on 2, you leak, no?
Yeah, you
could
You
do.
never
change
want to
the
add it
target
early.
of
You
the-
never want to add it early before 10. Never.
It
Even
should
if you
be
just need
maybe-
some extra value, I would rather just
Yeah.
build some trash tier 1 and tier 2 than the Harpy.
Yeah,
Except
it's
Cult.
probably the one of the worst unit of the game before 10.
Yeah,
So, but it has utility on 10.
it does
so
have use on 10.
Yep.
E tier?
I see. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's here for me. Alright. Anyone want to take Tribe? Rami LF? You guys haven't taken one for a while.
I can, yeah. Even 10, I don't like it that much.
I
So
hate this unit.
at most, I would give it C. I often see people like in the public queue or like in Battle Now or whatever start with it, or even on 1200. It's so trash. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Even on
agree.
5, it's not good.
It's,
Like, I don't
it's
know.
not good on 5.
Like the only thing you can add it on 10 if you have good frontline, and that's about it. So C, yeah.
Like, my personal feeling of this unit is I want to put it here. I hate it, but I think it is a C2 unit. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, fine for me.
Yeah, fine.
It's like good on 7, good on 10, but super weak on a lot of levels and like really,
That's
really
the
bad
same.
early.
Build. Oh, that's also a sign. It's a B tier. It's fucking nice damage dealer, and Pierce attack is so important early.
Yeah, it should be good early, but it's not.
When you mix it, it's so valuable, way more than the B tier units you see. So it's B or A for me.
I
So
think if you
in
overbuild
B-
a lot, it can be good. If you overbuild a lot with a good tank, it can be good on 7. Like you get AD's alpha on 7. Like it's okay. If you have it with Hydra or AD's on 10, it's okay. But
When you think about the important levels, 7 and 10,
Yeah.
the most important level in this unit is fucking strong. So
Okay.
it's no C tier.
Okay, so from what I've seen B tier so far, it's units that are either okay to YOLO, like you can pick them up for YOLO,
Yeah.
or amplify damage. So you have, for example, the Warlock, the Ranger, the Parasite, or the Landmine for 7. Tribesman, I think, is one of the Pierce damage dealers I wouldn't take that early on. I wouldn't choose that first for 10. I would definitely pick a Ranger over that, or a Warlock or whatever, but the Tribesman is, I don't know. I don't really see it having that big of a value.
I think the damage dealing is pretty decent, but the problem is it's dancing on the dinos on 10. That's the main issue I see. But as pure DPS on 10, I think it's quite good. But you often get pretty bad focus.
Yeah.
Because
I think N1ll3 kind of.
If you proc or not.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Ron.
It's pretty much RNG if you proc or not.
True.
Yeah.
No, I
Also.
think N1ll3 hit the nail on the head there. Like, we have the two most important levels, at least for like the game when you just look at it as a base, is going to be level 7 and level 10. This unit is pretty reasonable on both of those. So yeah, he's right. It can't really be worse than B. I dislike it, but I feel like it's not A for me though. I still feel like it's not A tier. I would rather have the A tier.
Infantry in Spider is clearly better.
Yeah, I think B is fine.
I think
Yeah,
B
B
is
is
fine.
fine. Okay.
Who wants to take Night Saber or Sentry?
I'm back.
I can take it.
Go for it.
It's really good YOLO. It's pretty comparable to EA and Aqua, but not as good. I think it's just S plus or S. You hold 5 with really low value. You hold 6 adding just 2 sentry. If you add the tier 1 on 2 and 3, you always clear pretty much. On 10 you can mix it to hold, but it's really dead value after 10. That's the main issue for this unit, I think. Even more dead value than EA or Aqua after 10.
I think that's too high.
I think S is fine for me.
For me, like,
I would put it in S. I don't know what you think.
For an early game unit, this thing is insane. Like, it's fine on 1, it's fine on 2, it's fine on 3, it's pretty good on 4, it's insane on 5.
It's not fine 3.
It's pretty good on 4. It's better than EA on level 4, man.
Yeah, okay, you're right. It is a bit
you
weak.
die, man. It's
It is
just
a bit
like
weak.
EA.
But it's not a
do
unit
A.
like, say, Revenant, where you're just praying that they don't send on 3.
Yeah. And on 8, you hold with
4 sabers holds.
pretty low value also.
It's really good.
Bad.
It's like, can be a really good 7 hold. I think it's S for early game.
Yeah, you can even adapt to 7 hold.
Early game insane after early game pure shit unit.
Yep, 100%.
For me, it's S. Yeah, I think.
I like it.
Even
I like
S+,
S for this
maybe.
unit.
Yeah, I would put it also S plus, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think.
by the way,
I
this
think
is
that the
for
first time I
whole
played
game or just
Lightsaber, I had
for-
a super insane game without knowing what I was doing. I held warriors even, like, I don't know, like it felt pretty good.
By the way, is this for the entire or just the level 10 early game? Oh, tier
This
One
list
is
to
one
early
to
game.
1 to 10, and we'll probably do another at some point, but not right
Yeah,
after.
then
it,
this
'cause-
one should go maybe even higher than S. If we're
But
talking
you-
early game, just early game, it's above S.
League
Yeah,
level 3
even-
with 2-0 to bow. It's not. I mean, it's super sick. It's S tier. S tier is strong.
Well,
not.
it's one way first week.
Yeah, Clock also
you need
leads
to
level
overbuild
6 and now
6, you need to overbuild 9.
You don't need to overbuild 6 with 2 Saber, 2 Sentry, 1 tier 1, you hold 6, man. And you can
Yeah.
adapt as older with any tier 6.
Yeah, but
put
then
it
you
to
have
you have so many options.
4 sabers. Oh, I don't know, man. That's too much that value for me.
But EA is okay. It's more that value.
Lightsaber is a very good 7 holder.
Yeah,
This is a hard one for sure. I'm not sure where I want to put it. Like
S
my
is
head
fine.
says S, but then there's a part that like this thing is so flexible.
S plus.
Mills.
see-
What do you think? S or S plus? Because me and LF think S. S plus.
Not S plus.
Okay.
Guys, I have to leave you here. I might be back soon. Yeah, I will see. So, yeah. Fine.
I'm
Maybe
out.
see you later.
I go for dinner. See you guys.
No worries. We might just finish up the tier 3s and then come back to this another time then.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Anyway, we've only got
Oh.
like 4 more to go. Or no, there's like 6
No,
more to go.
4.
Anyway,
8
S
more.
plus. All right, yeah, I can't count. See me.
S plus.
S plus for Pavle. I think that's fine.
Okay, I'm happy with this.
All right, Ice Troll. What do we think early? I might take this. For me, early game, this is like D. I don't like it early.
I think it goes kind of in the direction of a Spectre, though. Like being a really good add-on for some builds, really useful. Like it definitely shouldn't be below Captain. I think it's a better add than Captain.
I agree on
No.
this point, but I think Captain should be D. That's the problem. But okay, it's good with Yig. But with what else it's good before 10?
Cannon.
Blaster, Harlot.
I
Okay.
actually do like
Clockwork.
putting it with Elite Archer on level.
Yeah.
Any melee unit, to be honest.
Any
in my
melee
opinion.
unit with AoE or any unit.
Mouth.
No, you don't need AoE. No, it's bad with AoE.
How is it bad?
No, it's
with
okay with
AoE?
AoE. There's nothing wrong about having a bit more, but it's best obviously with tanky units.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's a really okay combo with cannon, man.
I haven't tried that. All right, I can live with it on C. I don't like Ice Troll early though.
Yeah, for me, it can be better than C. It's also, by the way, it's pretty. I think it's pretty good on 10.
Yeah, up to
Alright.
Ice
It's
Troll
also
is
pretty
not
good on
bad.
1 and 2, by the way. Allowing 1 shots on 2.
Yeah, but it's really bad on 3.
No.
It's bad.
Depends
It's
if your
bad.
unit needs a little bit of extra damage. If you have like that Crusader, you know.
Yeah. Well, you need
That,
to have the
Crusader
special
that's down here that we won't be touching.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Well, if you like to play the tricky roles, I don't. Yeah, it has some synergy.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't think it's a good unit early game.
No, neither do I. Are we happy enough with it at C?
Yeah.
Alright, Malformation. Is this one for you, Moa? You like this unit, don't you?
I love this unit. For me, you guys will disagree. For me, it's S plus, but I think people will put it in S. I mean, it's great yellow. You can have 2 ways to yellow it. It's pretty weak on 2. It's weak on 3. It's weak on 4.
Then how is it S plus?
Because it's still a good yellow if you have the right hats for it. you're fine. You clear. If you don't play too risky, you will still clear a sand early game. And it has a good potential to hold 10. The best YOLO potential. I mean, if you compare it to Aqua, Saber, or EA, it's way stronger on 10, and 10 is a key level.
It is the best YOLO for 10, I think that's fair. The thing is with Malf, like, if you have really nice ads for it, like, I don't know, maybe Spectre Spider or Spectre Infantry or something, like
Or
it's here.
Parrot.
Or
Or Parrot.
Yeah, range tier 2 and Parrot, like, it can be here with a good roll, but it can be, like, here if you don't have any ads for it. So for me, it is still S tier.
Okay,
I think it's super good,
then.
but it's a little too reliant on other units for my taste.
Okay, fine. I'm a bit sad, but okay, fine. I understand.
It is super good though. Alrighty, Meat Wagon. I might take this one. Gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in B tier, I think. Early game. No, I'll put it in A tier for early game, I think. We have Engineer
Only.
on S+. Meat Wagon is, to me, it feels like a poor man's Engineer.
But a better version on 4 and 5.
Definitely.
And 8.
Yep, this is
I
true,
agree.
but you don't have the very convenient like mutant to upgrade into. And if you're going War Machines, you probably need to be going for something else.
But yeah, of course. Yeah, with the engineer, you have the
If you're
300
going
gold.
War Machines, it
picture
probably
later.
means you should be unvouched.
But yeah, with Meatwagon, you need to mix it with other stuff. There's many ads who work with Meatwagon to hold 5, 6, 8.
Yep. And if
I like this unit.
if you don't have those ads, it's just a really efficient suicide.
Yeah.
So I think this unit is genuinely not too bad.
The only great combos I will ever say for Meatwagon for engineers is Void Dragon and those two units. Man, good early push, holds early levels, and doesn't leak 5.
Yeah, well,
And
it's
for
basically you need a 5 holder with it. You need Magna. You need Grey. If you have,
you need Void Dragon. You just need Void
Wind
Dragon.
Rider also good. Hellraiser's good with it.
Yeah,
Dragonhawk.
Only Void Dragon is the cheapest and best combination for hold any level with those units. Cheapest
think
and best.
A is pretty fine for this.
Yeah, I think A is
I
fine.
fully
yeah.
agree. Fully agree.
Right. Who likes... Well, Rummy is gone, so he doesn't get to do his Hellraiser
Moamoa.
exec in S++. Is anyone a liker of Phantom?
Moamoa.
I hate this unit.
Well, LF knows the best how to YOLO this unit. I think I don't know how to YOLO it, so
Yeah, there's
I
there's
don't-
multiple ways. You can do the risky level 1, you know. Then like level 1 sense can screw you hard, or you can even go like with the Hellraiser, but then you have kind of a slow start. It's very weak 4, also a bit tricky 5. But yeah, like you kind of end up with more value than with a lot of other YOLOs, but the unit is not that later on. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a hard
Between A
one.
and S,
I
in my
don't
opinion.
like
It's
this
not
unit.
that great to
That's-
YOLO the unit itself. If you just have the unit, if you add it to other units, like for example to LOD Hellraiser, that's insane YOLO. It's a bit of a tricky question, because if you have that unit, you don't have that value later on. Like, do we value that into this as well?
I think A category
A
is the
little bit.
best for it.
Yeah, I would agree with A in general. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
for me, it could be B. I mean,
This is a beta unit for me.
yeah, well, you shouldn't overbuild with it early game, because if you take the feed on 7, it's really bad because you never hold 10, because this is pure dead value 10. So it's a YOLO unit, and I don't see so many good YOLO setup you have with it. Like, I can't see so many good ads for it. I like a lot Clock with Hellraiser. Yeah, you can LOD Hellraiser indeed, but then you're pretty
Then
bad
your
on 10.
Then the thing that makes your build really nice is the LOD. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you could
Yeah.
kick this unit out of the roll and you've got LOD.
You
and you're still pretty
basically
happy.
combine one of the tankiest units with one of the best DPS units. That's what it makes it that good.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they're both like LOD is tanky for every wave, and Hellraiser's good damage for every wave. So I think if we do this from 11 to 31, it's gonna be way further up. But for now, I think A or B is both okay.
For me, this
Yeah,
is a
so-
B2 unit. I can't place it above Warlock. Like, even if we're using, or above Sprite, like, even if we're using the justification that, oh, it's, nice value in the mid game, it's like, so are a lot of these units that we've kind of put in the average tier because they're not that great early.
Even on
This
C
is better
tier.
than those early, but I feel like if you just try and YOLO this solo, I feel like probably 60 to 70% of the time you just end up dead. Maybe even more. Maybe that's just me because I suck with it.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky on like some of the key waves, like 4, for example. Yeah. Can easily leak 4 or 5 if you.
B,
unlucky.
between A and B, between A and B.
I think B is fine. By the way, you forgot about a great tank with it, which is Egg. Egg
True.
Hellraiser. It's crazy.
I mentioned it, yeah.
That's
I
S++
mentioned that Rummy's not here to put it in S++.
That's category.
These two as
Okay,
a
B.
these two as a package deal are really nice. Egg and Hellraiser. Anyway,
No, they're not. Do we need to discuss canon?
do we have canon
question.
lovers? I'm not even sold on this unit.
Canon is best S++ unit. Early.
No, it's not S++, man.
It's not S++.
Not for
How
me.
are you?
You send the Furb level 3 with it. On 6 you can leak if you're unlucky or if you don't have the right ads. For me it's S+.
This unit
Wait,
feels very
wait.
much like Night Saber to me.
Guys, are we talking about the same unit? I mean, in general, are we talking about the same unit?
Yeah,
Come
it's
on.
Yeah.
Holds level 1 to warriors. I will give you my perspective. Holds level 1 to warriors. Holds level 2 to any kind of center, even BO. Clears doesn't, okay, no mid, but clears everything to a BO. Level 3 clears everything to a BO. Level 4 clears everything to a BO mids. Level 5, 2 cannons. Without tier 1, there is a 20% chance of leaking. With tier 1, 0% of chance leaking. Level 6, I agree. Level 6 is tricky with cannons. Level 7 can free hold. Level 8, easy hold. Level 9, 800 value holds. Level 10, if you're overbuilding with some good unit, can hold. I mean, that's not
okay. I agree with what you're saying. But
I have no clue.
problem is you're still 2-0 level 3 and then you full push because you don't need to add anything on 4 and 5 if the game is fast. I mean, you go from 2-0 to 7-2, so it's not the best. And on
Yeah, but
6
if the game is not fast,
you might leak, and
level
you
6 is
also
the
need
only
to
tricky
load
level.
you also need to load the cannon from time to time, losing some gold.
Yes, but 800 value holds 9. Holds 7 to free.
Yeah, I know.
Holds 8. The same value that holds 8 holds 9. Level 7 can free hold. The only tricky level with it is level 6. But come on, the level 6 is tricky for EA and for Aqua even. Can leak.
I'll be
to
honest, man. I'm
500.
hearing all this, and I'm just looking at Night Saber, and I'm thinking like these two are really similar early game. Cannon's a bit
Except
better 10.
after
Saber's
and
a bit.
9 and 9.
They're the same cost.
Yeah, but Saber's cheaper because you have to keep loading this bloody thing.
You have to keep
Yeah.
loading this bloody thing, but level 9 it's better. Level 5 it's better. Level 4 it's better than Aqua, than EA, than Engineer, than Saber. Level 3 it's better than again all except Engineer. The only level it's worse is level 6, and the thing you have to add to it that you have to spend. Let's say if you're good with loading cannons, you have to lose about 50 value. I agree on that. No, not 50, but 70 value. I agree on that one. But you get much more. Early game, you don't get that much push early game by saying, I mean, level 1 and 2. From level 3, you can start pushing Level 4, you hold to a BO. Level 5.
Yeah, we know. But for me, it's still not as good as Aqua EA.
Yeah, the
I
same for
have-
me.
I'm back. By the way, Canon is for me S++.
Yeah,
You agreed with Pavle. What have you done?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so great. You are safe all levels. You clear all levels. You have a great YOLO. You can go hold 7. They are not that well. You pass 10. It's just a great unit.
not just that, Rami. Add to that the point where EA, where Aqua, where Saber leaks to a BO on level 4, level 2, level 3.
because
you
you didn't
hold.
play it enough. I leaked 10 units
You
to
hold.
BO for with 2 cannon. Some shit can happen.
Yeah,
also.
but you need to know the positioning of the cannon. It's really tricky to learn.
It's the same positioning, but I have seen it hold to blood. I can be sold on this. I don't think it's here personally, but if you guys sort of feel strongly about it, I can live with it. So you got
Can
Pavle
I-
Rummy for S++,
Just
me
hang
and
it
Moa
up,
for
by the way.
S+, LF, your call.
Yeah, Aleph, it's all about you now. S plus or S plus.
The Canon,
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
gonna lose a
it's
subscriber.
S+ for me.
You're gonna lose a subscriber, man.
King, he knows what he's
Nice.
talking about.
I
Well,
can't put it on the same level of EA and Aqua.
Yeah,
I can't see the parrot there either, but that's a different discussion.
I love this parrot. This unit has made like 3 games for me, just so much fun. Alright. This is the closest of these 4 to S++, though. I will say it's better than Saber, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree.
think it's as good as these 2. But it's pretty
Can I
insane.
can I speak about my favorite unit after this?
Which one?
Yeah, it's
My
alright.
favorite unit.
Oh yeah, if turret's your favourite, go for it.
Okay, so as turret is my favorite unit and I fucking hate it, I would put it in below F category. That would be G category. But since objectively speaking, it's a good unit, I would honestly put it between S and S plus. I know a lot of you guys will go for S plus, or maybe even S plus plus, but
Stop it, I'll stop it.
I would
I know
go
you
with-
hate it. It's for me. It's
It's
not as
A-tier
good
for
as
me.
Moa, I support
it's a
you.
great
Happy.
yellow. It's a great yellow. I love the yellow, but it's never as good as mouth. So
Yeah,
think
that's the same for me. I would, if I have turret and I have clock, I play clock. If I have turret, or if I like, I don't know, you can't have these 2, but if I could choose turret or mouth, I would choose mouth.
Yeah.
I would play anything over turret except Cold. And Harpy.
Yeah, it's one of those, it
Exactly.
can be very fickle. Like sometimes you have those good games where you hold with like nice value and everything feels good, and sometimes it's just like, you're just looking at your lane and it's like, I should hold. I remember I had 290 value on level 2, right? 3 turrets and a 20 gold tier 1. Thinking, oh yeah, I'll be fine. I leaked 13 creeps to a Ferb. And I'm thinking like, this unit is just fucking so irritating to play. Because like,
So we all agree it's F category.
no,
it's like,
No.
when it
I
decides to
think it's still better than. It's sad to have it with Ogre for me, but and Meatwagon for me it's way better than Meatwagon. It's still a really good yellow. I'm always 7-2 on 6 with it. Like except if
Yeah.
you get the send on 4, you're always 7-2 on 6 with this unit. So yeah.
I will say the occasional game when your turrets just decide like, yeah, screw you, you're having a bad game, then it's F tier. But for me, it's A tier.
A tier. Okay, okay. Sorry, I mixed up A and S tier. I was like, wow.
Okay, Violet then.
Is
2
it-
unit left. Yeah.
Is it guard? I think it's guard.
Yeah, it's God, yeah.
Guys,
the
guys. Violet.
the yellow is playable, but
Still
it's not
level
good.
5, Violet is, in my opinion, a great unit.
No, it's really bad on 3.
Yeah.
If you get a BO, if you yellow it, you get a B on 3, you completely die. So
I would rather play guard than play violet.
me too.
No,
I-
I would play Violet.
I think it's preference. I just like guard, but I don't think one of them's much better than the other.
lately I play it sometimes with Disciple. I add it on 5 and I upgrade it for 6, which all boss level. I like it for. I put it in D just for this reason. Otherwise, it would be for me.
Nah, it's
I
not
think
as
it's
bad as
honestly,
Harpy
I think
early.
it's not as bad as you guys think.
Yeah, I
It doesn't
agree.
do that bad on 3. Like you usually have 2 Violets, Watcher, and then like a tier 1,
Yeah.
and that does good.
Yeah. Not
guess
as
but
bad.
for me,
And
it's
that's
like
2-0. That's okay. After
yeah, but
that,
for
you
me,
can
it's
full
like
push.
you have 2 guards and you hold BO, so like it can't be above guard for me.
I mean, obviously, guard is better on 3,
But I think
but
guard
Violet is better
guard
4
is
or
fine.
5.
Guard is fine on 4. Like guard is fine on
No,
5 as
it
well.
can-
Violet is
leak,
insanely
it can
good on
leak.
4.
Violet is Violet can hold to Violet can
Violet's
do
better
as
than-
good as can,
But Violet's better than
On 4.
guard on 4. That's fair. But,
and
eh.
guard can leak. It's like RNG Aqua, while Aqua holds, RNG guard can leak. But yeah,
It's AOE unit, so most of the time you won't mix it. So
It's too
you need,
expensive
if you
to
have
mix.
it, when you play it, you pure YOLO it, and the pure YOLO is not so good for me.
Like the thing with Violet is it's only AoE when you upgrade it, and it's expensive then, so you don't really find a good opportunity to mix it very often. I don't think.
As I said with my Disciple, I like it, and
Yeah.
otherwise I don't see any option.
For me, it's D tier.
It's fine, I guess.
You guys
It's
happy
okay.
enough? with that?
I'm having more and more units on my list that I have to play again in Lille. That I have
I'll-
to show you.
I'll make sure not to sign when I see you in queue then. At least for a little bit.
I already have 3 on my list there
Oh
easily.
dear. Alright, Crab. Who wants to take this?
It's
Come
A or S.
A or S? Are you insane, man? It's worse than that.
Just because you leaked on level 2 with it when you shouldn't have. For me, it's an AT unit. I like it. I quite like it.
It's supposed to be sold on 2, just so you know.
No, I added it for 2 and I leaked with Time Stealer.
Because you
Testing.
placed it wrong. Like, objectively wrong.
It was RNG.
Yeah, well, the worst unit of the game, level 2, with luck.
Yeah, this is true.
Ooh,
But
guys,
it's such a good add for many setup. Keep in mind you lose 9 gold when you build it and you sell it, but it's
Yeah, but it can make you Tokyolo, for example, super good, or like it can make
It helps you bridge those really awkward gaps where otherwise you'd have to add shit like Novice.
exactly.
yeah, or like Blaster for 3 when they could possibly send in your team is bad on 3, you add the bottom feeder, then you sell it for a Blaster, or like there's so many other units for Hydra as well, for AOD.
It's just the best bloody stopgap for like so many of these levels. It's like, oh, I need a little bit more value, but I don't want to build anything crap. Okay, I'll build like 9 gold's worth of value. That's what it is. It's 400 health and like 50 damage for 9 gold.
Yeah, I think A is fine.
Like, to me, that's really good, but it is just A for me. I don't think it's better than that, but it's good.
Yeah, don't put it with Malf.
Yeah, Malf
Don't
is
dare.
I do like the map. Alrighty, I reckon we might just wrap up there, just because we've been going for a little while. So, and we'll like carry on with this in the sort of near future. Does that sound alright for you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to keep
Oh,
you.
Epic, you got a new comment on your video.
Hooray! Lucky me. Alright, anyway, cheers very much for joining me, guys. Appreciate it. Hopefully you'll sort of tolerate another couple of hours of this in the next few days and we'll get the first one done. Thank you very much. Okay guys, welcome back. This is the second part of the early game tier list. Might all be squashed together in one video or not, haven't quite decided yet. So I've got a couple of people in voice with me this time. Say hello if you would.
Yeah.
Yo.
Hi, Nils here.
Got
Why?
N1ll3 and Moamoa with me this time, so just got these two, but honestly, they're bloody good players, that's all I need. You know, they should be able to tell me when I'm wrong, which hopefully won't be too often, but we'll have to find out. So, leaving off from last time, we thought we'd just go through a couple of units quickly, and maybe reassess where they are on the tier list, since we've had, I think, a day or two now to sort of think about it. So for me personally, I would be moving this engineer down to just S tier. Does anyone...
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yep, awesome.
What?
Welcome to Pavle as well. So at the moment, we're just discussing a few of the things on our tier list from the last time, okay? So we've moved engineer down from S+ to S. I think we're all agreed on that.
Yep.
Does turret need to move up?
Yeah, well, turret is so good because you're 3-0. It's just, for me, just bad if you need to cover wars with it. But otherwise, you're 3-0 on 1 and you hold 5 with 6-2. And there's not so many roles who can do this. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty flexible as well. Like, you can go for an overbuild with it and it's not too bad. You can go into Tok or Sea Giant if you really want. Like, it's not terrible for 10, it's not good by itself, but if you have good ads, it can be a 10 holder. It's pretty nice for me, so I think it deserves to be there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else for you guys? Do you reckon?
I think the mouth is close to S+, but I don't know. I mean, we also forgot about Arena, because when you play mouth, you increase your chance to win Arena.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I like mouth more than Saber, probably.
Yeah.
So, for me...
What do you reckon,
it should
Noah?
be together.
Yeah, for the early game, it falls off hard in the mid game. For the early game, it could be S+.
I think it is S+, but it has got a little caveat that, like, if you have mouth, it does rely on a tier 1 or tier 2, more so than a lot of these other units. It's as good, or nearly as good, but it does rely on the tier 1 and tier 2, so... Like, when you get a good roll, mouth is honestly, like, here. But if you don't, it's sort of down here, or even here. So that, I think we can leave it here, because it is super, super strong, but... Yeah, it's not always going to be this strong, so you just gotta grain of salt.
I think most of the time you still get a decent tier 1 or tier 2. I mean, you need to be really unlucky, like having a parasite.
You need to have like these things here, basically.
Exactly.
So there's a reason they're down here. Okay, anything else, or are we sort of happy? I think this looks okay to me personally.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Alrighty. Let's get moving on. So next we've got a tier 4. We've got our mermaid. So I might take this one if you guys are alright with it.
Sure.
I'm going to drop it in C tier. So the reason I think it's C tier for the early game, 1 to 10, because its damage is very much on the low side. When you don't have very many units, its shield can be very, very unreliable, especially if you have a lot of units. So it can sometimes like shield itself or shield really silly things that don't take much damage. And just in general, for the benefit it provides early game, it's overcosted. In the mid game, it's much, much better, but I don't like it very much 1 to 10. It's usable, but I think it's not great.
Yeah, C looks fine for me. It's usable for Ick, for example, or for Hydra, but not very often. So C is a good, fits in C for the early game, sure.
Yep. Yeah, even if you try, I saw some YOLO like on 5 with it, but still then you die on 8, so... Yeah. And by the way, with Sea Giant, okay, it's good indeed. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, okay, it's really decent. But you still have no Dino Killer if you have only Hydra with Mermaid. But the spell is the shield is so strong still.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little like Dark Mage in the sense that it's only good with big units, but Dark Mage is like super, super good with all the big units. It's good with like 2 or 3. in the early game.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next, who wants to take Prisoner?
Yeah, I can take the prisoner then.
Go for it.
Yeah, Prisoner, A tier.
A
It's a
tier?
nice YOLO. Yeah, A tier. It's a nice YOLO unit, and yeah, you can mix it often very good. So yeah, it's not that good that the other S tier YOLOs, but it's a solid YOLO and A for me.
Yeah, fine
I
for me.
completely agree. Yep. It's better than these YOLOs, and it's not as good as these ones.
Yeah.
Alrighty, who wants to take the Outcast?
Oh, I can take it. It's an
Yeah.
easy one. I don't think it's F. For me, it's E. I mean, the tier 1 is better than the Knight. If you compare the stats, it's strictly better, but Knight is trash. Yeah, it's a unit you never played. But I think if you have really nothing to do, you can play it on 1, you go 3-0, you one-shot 3, you die after 4 just. But I think he's fine, yeah. There's a play, I saw a play a long time ago, doing Outcast, upgrade it, and go AOD for 5 and PD for 7. It was okay old, but it's still trash.
I agree completely. I would put this in E tier if, like, it's so expensive for what it gives, which is just like a dumb tank that isn't good on any level after 3.
Yeah.
Just like, it's just weak. Anyone disagree?
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Right. Who wants to take the Troll Fighter? Pavle, what do you reckon? If you're still here. Oh, he's not here. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to me. I'm going to pop this Troll Fighter in D tier. As a small unit, it's usable on level 3 because it one-shots, but it's relatively weak, slow attack speed and squishy. And the aura is very expensive for what it gives to you when you only have, say, 1000 to 1700 value in the early game. I very, very rarely build this before level 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like,
It's
it's
okay
a
on
really
8
good aura.
also. I like it on 3 and 8, but so bad any other level. If you get it for 8, you rip on 9.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Super good aura, we're not trying to detract from that, but just when you don't have very many other towers to benefit from that aura, it's very expensive for what it gives. But, you know, it gets better and better as you get more value and more value, so it's one of those things that gets much better in the mid-game. Alrighty, who has a thought about TOT?
Yeah, then I go with the TOT. Yeah, that's the first tricky choice, I think, because yeah, it's a slow aura and speed aura, and it's for the mid game. It's one of the best units and so important.
Without a doubt.
But in the early game, yeah, maybe A tier, because you can also one hits at the early level, and yeah, slow is always useful for 7, and you can build it in nearly every build. So yeah, I think A tier, but it depends on your ads.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I want to add is that slow aura is also really, really strong on 10, and I think the TOT slow aura is actually better on 10 than the other slow aura because it has a longer range. So I've seen bosses get stuck on dinos and have to walk around dinos just because of this thing's aura.
Yeah,
I think it's super
it
good.
seems a bit stronger. The range is bigger
So-
from the tot, I think,
Yeah.
but the slow is...
The slow is weaker, but it has more range. That's the difference between the two. And
on 10
the
it's
slower
for
is
sure
better on different levels between the two. So, but they're both really insane as an aura. Slower is like my second most strong thing in the game in general, I think. But for the early game, it's not that insane, and it can be a little hard to use. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
I agree on you. Like if you have turrets on 10, I'm pretty sure TOT is better than Magna. If you have some ads to try to ult 10, I will take the Magna then.
Yep.
For me, it's S plus, I think.
the
Could
early
be
game.
S, but it's so strong. The Magna is just the best unit for level 5 and 6. You can have any trash add. You steal all 5 and 6 just with it, and it's strong. If you wanna
Also,
hold
it's
7,
great
if you
for-
wanna hold 10. Sorry?
It's great for too.
Alright, come on, Pavle.
Yeah, okay,
Magna
Take
is
this
great
serious.
for.
the weakness is 4, but it one-shot one.
No.
4.
Magna is great for.
I'm not sure if I agree with the S+.
I
For
don't
me, it's
either.
more like
For me, it's an
S tier.
S tier unit. I think it's better
Yeah.
than the tree early game because its increments are better on 5 and 6, and I think the strong slow aura is better on 7, and
Yeah.
it functions well on 10. Even if it's not quite as good as the TOT aura, it still functions on 10. And yeah, what you were saying, Pavle, is right. If you actually, what you can do for level 4 is upgrade this Magnetor. Sometimes it's like right, and it can be a nice sort of hold. You can play things like Sea Giant with Polar, and then go into just Magnetor 5, so you don't have to get the Hydra. You can Tok with Magnetor, so Magnetor 5 and 6. It's better, like without a doubt, it's better than the TOT early, but I think it's not S+ for me. I think it is just S.
If you have really terrible roll, like you have corrupt or anything, you can just do Magna to all 5 and 6. This is so strong to suicide like later, and with good push, and with older is super good. For me, yeah. Well, I don't mind S, but
It's S. Oh, by the
think
way,
it's really
we didn't
close
talk
for
about the
S+.
N1ll. Is N1ll S+ or is N1ll S?
It's S.
Yeah, I think it's also S tier. I think we overrated that one a little bit. It's super good, but
Yeah.
it's not S+. Is that fine for you, N1ll3 and Pavle?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on.
Go for
Flying Machine. Do you want to take that one, Pavle?
Sure thing. In my opinion, Flying Machine is something between A and S. In my personal opinion, because it's a good unit, especially for certain levels. But it's not that good. It can be good with some, for example, LOD or stuff like that. It can be good for level 5 as a YOLO unit with some good tier 6. But the point is, it's not that great early levels. It's a great aura, and it's especially good for level 10 and upwards. But for early game, I think it would be something between A and S, and I'm more inclined to say A than S.
Right, for me,
Agree.
this is an A tier unit. It's really nice to have early, but I don't think it's as good as any of the S tier units early. But it is super good. That being said, the aura only affects ranged units, so just be careful if you've got your like Blaster lane or something, or your Ig lane. It's obviously goes down in value, but in general it's super good. And like don't rush to build it with melee units, and you'll be sweet.
Yeah, A is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. The basic stats are also not as bad as the Troll Fighter, so you can also build it as A is fine.
It's like, yeah, as Nilo said, the stats are good, so it's actually a pretty strong unit on like level 1 and 2, and then it's a bit weak on 3, but it's good on 4, good on 5, good on 8. Like, it's really nice to have. Alrighty, who wants to take Necromancer? I personally don't.
I don't wanna either.
Yeah, I can do it. It's just S++. Because the 10 hold, it's for sure the strongest 10 holder unit, and 10 is a key level. It's a nice damage dealer, fucking good damage dealer for 7, and yeah, it's a bit weak early to be honest. So in the first 5-6 levels, it's hard to play around. Some people struggle a lot when they try to keep the Ghost or the Necromancer, because it's so strong, and you can't really reroll that unit because it's so powerful. But yeah, some people suffer early to keep the Necromancer. So maybe even just S+. Because the first 6 levels, when I think about it, it's really not a good unit. Yeah, S+.
And level 8.
That's not for the early.
I agree with S+ early, but it is a
And
super
level
insane
8,
unit.
it's weak.
Yeah, but level 10 is so important, guys. I mean, you don't care if it's weak only, just don't build it. But when you have the Necro in your roll, you never reroll. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason for this.
Mm.
It's just S++, man. Level 10 is so important. I don't know. Well, this is
it's
the
hard.
tricky part is that it's an aura, so
Yeah.
you never just build the unit only, this unit only, but it's so game changer.
It is. Can I just,
Game changer.
Nilay, with what you said about some people struggling with keeping this unit and then YOLOing from there, I just want to give a really quick shout out to my friend JP, Just Push. What he did, he kept a Necromancer from his first roll, really bent over backwards to keep this thing, and then upgraded it to a Necrolite on level 5. So the reason the reason you do that is for the Ghost, because the Ghost is insane in mid-game and really strong on 10. The Necrolite, it's not worth sort of ruining your game to keep, if the Ghost didn't exist. But the Ghost exists, so yeah. I think it is S++, even early. I think it's just that good on 10 and not bad on other levels, especially 7.
I mean, any game, when you start the game, you see your roll, you see the Necro, you're super happy. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
other
true.
unit. Give you the
Yeah,
feeling.
That's true. Yeah.
Can I take the next one?
Go for it.
Is
Obliteration
that
Dragon.
the Void Dragon, right?
Void Dragon, yeah.
Obliteration. Void Dragon Obliteration. Okay. In my opinion, it's again similar with what did I do? I did Copter, right? Between A and S. Because I think it's A. I wouldn't say it's B because it's a really good level 5. It's a really good level 7. Otherwise, besides those levels, it's not a good unit. But with certain YOLOs, it can be magnificent. Like, for example, if you're getting a slow game with Engineer and you don't want to leak level 5, Obliteration Dragon takes it all. You don't leak level 6. If you hold level 5, you don't leak level 6. But it's a really bad level 3. It's a really bad level 6. It's really bad level 8. It's really bad level 9. It's really bad level 10. I would actually put it in B category now that I think.
Yeah, it's easy.
I was going to put it in B as well.
Yeah.
Just waiting for you to explain. So for me, it's similar in the sense to Tribesman. It's really weak on the first 3 levels, but then it's good on a couple of key levels. For this one, it's 5 and 7. For this one, it's 7 and 10. So even though they're not really playable by themselves, they get put in a decent category just because they're important, or they're very good on a couple of important levels. But it's not A tier for me.
Especially level 5.
Yeah, this thing is crazy.
Level 5, it's a beast.
Is
Yeah.
that fine for everyone, Nilo?
The problem
Yeah,
with
it's fine. It's fine.
for me, it's a B also. The problem with this unit, it's super strong on 7 indeed, but it means you take the field on 7, and on 10, it's one of the worst units. It's it's not pure dead value, but it's dead value. So
Even though it's got
the
pierce
main
attack,
problem-
it's super bad on 10.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure
Flashes.
why, it just is. Maybe the range is too small. Alright, moving on. Who wants to take Overseer? I'll take Overseer, haven't done it for a while. For me, this unit is D tier. It's usable with some of the melee units, like Blaster, Greymane, Cyborg, Pure Darkness, Time Stealer, to name a few. It's not too bad with some of those. On its own, it's absolutely terrible. The body you get for 130 gold is garbage. Doesn't even benefit from its own aura, like almost all of them. But yeah, that's about all there is to be said. It's good in a couple of setups. It's pretty bad in most of them.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Alrighty,
I
moving
think
on.
it's even close to B, no? Yeah, it's D, I guess.
I mean, it's D. It's better than Overseer, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
good. Alright, who wants to take the Young Witch Doctor?
Yeah, then let me take the Young Witch Doctor. Yeah, I think it's B tier. Or C tier maybe. Yeah, B tier, because it's only 100 gold and you can use it with Aqua build, for example, or always with a holder build. Yeah, it's a useful aura early. Not strong on its own, but the heal is important early.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this aura. I have like a little bit of a soft spot for it, but I agree it's not as good as the A tier units. And I just want to make a quick note, the unupgraded Young Witch Doctor is pretty nice. The upgraded one, I think it's really, really overcosted for what it gives you. So 100 gold for the healing aura is like good. 300 gold for the big healing aura is not good for me.
Yeah.
Is that fine for you?
Yeah,
Noah?
I only build the upgrade one for late game or
Yeah.
to arena sometimes against Necro, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so bad. Even on 15, 17, for me, it's super bad to upgrade it. The cost is too high.
Yeah, but the little one's good, and it obviously scales nicely through the whole game because it's an aura, like every other aura, basically. Alrighty, next up, Tempest. This is you, Moa.
I can take it.
Yep.
Well, it was supposed to be better since the change of the unit. It was supposed to be better for early game, but I tried the YOLO, and you can't really compare it to Engineer, sadly, because it's not the same push early level 1 and level 2. You're probably 3-0. It's really good on 4, but you die 5. You have no way to all 5. It's not as good as Engineer, and you always end up suicide. For me, it would be between C and D, probably D, I think.
I would put this unit D tier. I think you can use it. I think the only sort of way to use it is early game with a few other units. Maybe clock if you have absolutely nothing else to build on 3.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it's pretty bad. I wouldn't play it on its own unless my role was full of this, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad on 5.
Yeah. Yeah, it shouldn't be, but it feels almost as bad as Engineer on 5. Actually, I think it feels worse than Engineer on 5, honestly. I feel like you kill more with Engineer.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on. Mr. Priest. Is that for you, Nilla, I think?
Yeah, or you? I don't mind. Priest, yeah. Priest is also... Yeah, it heals not enough. So I think it's a weak unit early, and sometimes you can add it to Ick or Hydra build, but you can't build a Priest on its own, so I think it's a tier. Yeah, it's a D tier for me.
D tier. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Mr. Priest, he's not very good. He doesn't get better because it's a flat heal, not like a percentage or anything, so it doesn't get better as you go into the game. It just, doesn't heal enough. Cooldown's too long. It's like DPS is terrible.
Also weak.
What was that, pardon?
The basic stats are also very weak from the Priest, so...
Yeah. And he's
Is
100
there really
gold.
a situation where you can build it? I mean, I never see it. I don't know the unit much. For me, it would be even E, you know? You can't YOLO with this unit at all. With Older, it's always bad. No DPS, no tank, the heal is shit.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
usable with
it's
Ick and
usable.
Hydra.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's even usable with Clock, but I would go 3rd Clock over Priest, I think, always.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
I agree with Nella. It's more usable than these, but only just. Right, next one's for me, Mr. Mudman. For me, Mr. Mudman is a C tier unit. He's bloody good on 3, which is sort of where his niche comes from. You can YOLO him by himself. His upgrade one shots 5 and 6. which makes it usable with sometimes. And in general, I think his biggest use is an add for level 3 for things like Hydra or IG, units like this. But the difference between him and some of these units is that he's actually quite a good add on level 3. That's all there is to say, I think, about him.
Yeah, very good add, but no good solo unit.
Yeah.
Like, you can play him by himself, but you really wouldn't want to. Alrighty. Medicine Man.
Oof.
Quickly, I held 10 with Hydra Oracle, so up we go. No, I'm kidding, obviously. What do you guys think he's good for?
Probably D. No.
Yeah, E, more E or?
Yeah. For me, it's better than Priest.
I think he's
No,
I think
for me
he's
not. I
very
never
comparable
played
to
this unit.
Priest.
I've seen some setup with 2 Hydra Oracle on 10 doing okay. Yeah, okay, it's really bad. To be honest, I don't know. I never played this unit or Priest so early game.
Yeah, I never played that early, so
For me, this
Yeah,
thing
it's
is not worse
hard.
than Priest. It's about as bad, but I don't think it's worse.
I think it's worse. But okay.
No, you've got
I
the casting vote, Moa. D or E? Because I'm not unhappy to put it E tier. Like, it is bad. It is bad without a doubt.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Well, do you ever build the Oracle early game?
Unless you have
I
nothing
think-
else. Like, I had 160.
Yeah,
I had like 160 gold with my Hydra, and I had nothing else to build. I had 2 Hydras, 2 Dark Mages, and we needed something to hold 10, and I was like, well, I can get 1 Fire Archer or 1 Oracle.
yeah, so it's just it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. It's bad for sure, beyond a doubt. Right. Drunk Pirate. Who wants to take
Tricky
this?
one.
Is this your one, Moa?
Okay. It's pretty hard one. Maybe I didn't test it enough.
I can
I
take
know
it
the
if you want.
unupgrade one is really good on 2. I think it's pretty good on 1. I don't know how good is the upgrade one with Joyce on 7. I'm
Bad.
not so sure. It's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the upgraded one is bad before 10.
Is it
I
even
have
good
no
on 10?
idea.
Pardon?
Yeah, I
Not
have no
even-
idea about this unit. Sorry, Moa. You.
No, is it even good on 10? I didn't play it much.
Alright, I
don't
might
know.
I might take over because I have played with this one a
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay, go for it.
For me, this is a low CT unit. It's not bad on, or it's actually quite good on like 1 and 2. It's okay on 3 and 4. Really, really terrible on 5. Really, really terrible on 8, which is why it's not YOLOable by itself. It's like, I guess it's comparable to Mudman. It's a bit worse on 3. It's a bit better on 10 with the minus armor, and a bit better going into mid-game, but this is an early game list. The problem with the upgraded one, even though the -2 armor aura is quite good, and like the Ignite Sabers gives it like 60 more damage, it sounds pretty good. The thing is, it attacks really slowly when you upgrade it. So
Yeah.
60 more damage is like, oh, it sounds really good, but this thing attacks slowly once it's upgraded, so it's not as good as it sounds. Usable for sure, but it's not a great unit for me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, also fine for me, because I'm not used to this unit yet.
For me, I think it's pretty comparable to Mudman, honestly. It's Mudman,
Okay.
It's worse early, except on level 2, I guess it's a bit better, but it's like worse on 3, worse on 6, and like a bit better on 10, and then a bit better going into mid-game. Or quite a bit better going into the mid-game, I guess, but I think they're really similar early, how they function. Anyway, who's a fan of Zombie?
Oh, we need Ace. Where is Ace?
Ace, S++. No, it's not S++. For early game, thoughts on Zombie?
I can take it. For me, well, it one shot 7 if no firm. I'm not sure it's 100% one shot if no Ferb. So basically it's pretty bad on 7 if you don't have AoE with it. It's really strong on 8. It's insanely strong on 8. Not a big fan of it early game. For me it's a C.
Yeah, I agree. This
Yep.
it can be used on like level 3 as well with things like Sea Giant Ig. It's comparable to Mudman. Mudman's like more cost effective on 3. This is, I guess, it's a bit better on 7, better on 8, and better in the mid
attack
game.
rate is slow.
Yeah.
When the attack rate would be a bit faster, it would be maybe A tier, but like this, it's C tier for me too.
Usable, but not great. Alrighty, Nightmare. Is this for you, Nile, or for me?
Yeah, I can take it.
Yep.
I think Nightmare is a typical B tier. So you can YOLO it. It can be a support unit. It's strong for 3 for sure. But after 5 or after 6, it falls a bit in his value because it becomes useless very early in the game. So it's a B tier. It's useful. You can YOLO it, but that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
This is one of those units, if you have something like Nightmare, Necromancer, and a bunch of these units, you play Nightmare to have a nice early base for your Necromancer. Things like that. It's not a bad unit. It's pretty good on 1 to 3, depending how much you overbuild. Even though it's like classic to see this leak on 2. If you actually like build on 2 with it, it's good. Not much else to say. Alright, Cyborg for me.
It's just dead after 6, it's a dead unit.
Yeah, that is a problem with it.
Yeah.
For me, Cyborg is a D tier unit. I think it's usable in a holder build with something like Pure Darkness, but I don't think it's any better than Guard. It's playable, but I think it's not YOLOable, unlike Guard, and I think it's not a good 7 holder because it attacks very slowly. I think there's not much else to say. It's usable, but I'd stay away from it for the most part. It's better than this.
Yeah, it's the strongest 4 unit, but that's it.
Yeah.
So,
for me, it's even close to be E. But it's so bad you never play it every game.
Has even a chance to leak level 1 by itself. Because the problem with it is high damage but low attack speed.
Yeah, D is fine.
yeah, D
I
is
think
fine.
if you have like Necro, it's better to play Cyborg Necros than playing Cyborg Outcast. So
Yeah.
I think D is fine.
Alrighty, Grizzly. Who wants to take that?
I can take it.
Go for
it. It's probably A for me. It's really strong to YOLO it for level 5 and 6. The older can be decent depending on the ads. It's pretty weak on 1, it's weak on 2. Yeah.
It's a bit weak on 8,
strong
don't you
unit, I
reckon?
don't know. Yeah, it's yeah, that's the main problem. Probably. I could be... For me, it's maybe even close to be S, but there's so many options with the Grizzly. You can YOLO, you can Holder, but it's not the best YOLO, it's not the best Holder. Nah, A should be fine for this unit, I think. What do you think, guys?
I agree.
Yeah.
For me, I would rather have a Magnetor than a Greymane. But a Greymane is not bad.
Yeah, Greyman is so nice so often in so many builds. But yeah, as you said, it's not the best YOLO, not the best hold, so overall A is fine, I think.
It's good flexibility is its strength for sure. Because you can just play it a bunch of different ways to suit what your team needs. So, Nilo, do you want to take Alchemist?
Yeah. Personally, I hate this unit. I really don't like this unit, but
don't
it's
like
not.
it.
No, it's not that bad. Yeah, but it's not above for sure. Maybe it's C tier for the early game even. Yeah, I put it in C tier because it's very weak 5 when you compare to the value. When you have 2 blaster, you leak to fur permit. That's
I
very
want to
bad.
point out that 800 value Alchemist on level 5 has a chance to leak to no send.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's a solid 7 holder. It's good for 10 since with the Dino meta. It's good for the math meta. It was trash 10, but it's not bad. When you have some ads, you can really hold. Good for 10 when you have blasters. Yeah, maybe it's a B tier. I change it to B tier. It's a solid unit, but you have to suffer early.
Yeah.
When you have it.
I agree. The main problem with this Alchemist is its damage increment. It doesn't one-shot 5 through Ferb, it doesn't 2-hit 7 through Ferb. So if you have Captain in your role, or Ice Troll, like a little bit of supporting damage, because it only needs a little bit, it goes right up to A tier, and then it's actually quite a good holder. But
yeah, but when you have that, you need to stay 2-0 for 7 if you want 3 blasters and a captain, and then you have to check what you want to do, or you do just 2 blasters and captain, but
then you're not a good holder.
You are no strong holder anymore, so it's always a bit tricky.
Yeah. I think the other problem with this unit when we compare it to Grizzly is level 4. This thing has light armor, so it sucks level 4, meaning you have to overbuild. You need to be, I think it's like minimum 550 value, or 540 value for this. I think like the minimum you can get away with is 540 value, 3 alks, and it's not even a guaranteed hold. So you just don't have the option to play it as a more of a pushing unit, more flexibly like you do with something like Grizzly, because you have to overbuild so much on 4 that it doesn't even make sense to push after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, moving on to the reskinned blaster, not quite. We've got the Knight. So am I taking this one? Yeah, I think so. I'm going to pop this in C tier. For me, it's blaster but worse. Like, it's more expensive. I think it's slightly better on 7, but like really only slightly. The big problem with it is it's much worse on 1, 2, 3. You don't get to start 2-0. You have to have 2 Cavaliers for 5. You can't get away with with Alchemist, you can get away with 1 Blaster and 2 Alchemists. 1 Cavalier and 2 Knights leaks a lot on 5, so you need 2 Cavaliers, which means you're pretty much always 2-0, unless you get feed. 3-0 if you get to stay 2 Knights for level 3. But yeah, it's just not good. Like, it can be played as a holder, but I think it's a really, really subpar one to get you there. And I think it's worse than Blaster on 10.
For me, it's worse than C. For me, it's easy D. The older is indeed you play it like blasters, but you have probably no chance to hold 10. You have no push. You're only here for 7, and for 7 you're not even sure to hold, and you can't mix it with any unit because you just dig 5. So on 5 you always need 2 Cavalier. So for me it's a trash unit.
Yeah, I think it's a trash unit, but I think C is fine, because when you have 2 upped, you are really safe, and you can carry your team 5 and 7. It's a good hold, so it's useful in that case. But I want to add that I saw this unit played so often on the FPG games for new players. They overrate this unit so often. I don't know why, but
and it's probably one of the strongest units for 8, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, but
good job, Cavalier. You're good on 1 level. You're genuinely good on 1 level.
Yeah, but it's a problem of going you need to overbuild it for 7. You take the feed, and then you're completely useless for the rest of the game. If you play Kava, you never meet 15 in any game. There's no way. even if you have Necro, you probably leak 10. So your only job is to cover a bit team on 5 and on 7, but
Yeah, but we don't rate that it gets that value later. Otherwise,
Okay.
So,
For me, I would rather have a knight than a cyborg on my tier 5.
Yeah.
But to be completely honest, I don't really care which it is. Because most of the time I'll build something else or I'll reroll. Alrighty, moving on.
Fine then. Ooh.
Ship. Who wants to take ship?
Go for it, Epic.
I just did the Cabba, didn't I?
yeah, I
Never
don't
mind.
mind. Yeah, just take it.
Yeah, just take it, man.
Okay, I'm gonna put ship S tier. Pre-nerf, it was probably here, even fighting for here. The nerf didn't hurt it much, but I think it's not as insane anymore. So when the pirates lost their ability, the AoE damage, it might have seemed inconsequential, but this thing, when it's upgraded, first thing I should say is, unupgraded ship is pretty bad, upgraded ship is really good. So it's the upgraded ship that's like getting at this ranking, not the small one. This thing is really close to one-hitting level 5 and 6, but it doesn't quite. So with that AoE ability, you could YOLO this super hard early on, and actually it was really efficient. Without that ability, you actually do need to overbuild a fair amount for 5 and 6, and it's not a great 7 holder. Where this thing is really good is it's super strong 1 to 4, and quite good on 10 as well. So for me, this is an S tier unit, but I don't want to put it higher.
Agree with you.
Yep.
I think we need to test more the yellow ship.
Yeah.
Because there's probably many ways to play it. We've seen a lot of older ship, but if you don't have a backline DPS with it, you're pretty bad on 7 and 10, so then the way is to YOLO it. But if you don't have the ads, you can't YOLO it. If you have the DPS ads, it's insane on 7 and 10. But if you have only the ship, it's not so good. So S is fine for me.
Yeah. So the nerf hurt its YOLO basically. Didn't really affect the holding side of it too much, but it hurt its YOLO, and which hurts its flexibility, which means it's not up here for me. Okay, Disciple.
Okay, I can take the
Go for it.
Yeah, it's very one of the best YOLOs.
Without a
So
doubt.
for the early game, let me think about it. Yeah, I think it's S+ even, because you are so strong until 5, maybe also one of the best 5 units, and you have a 3-0 start, and yeah, the push is insane. It falls off after 7, I think. 7, it can be also a nice damage dealer when you have a tank. You can, for example, start with 2 Disciples and build a Sea Giant for 5, and then you have a solid 7 semi-hold. So yeah, S+. It's an S+ unit for me.
I agree completely with you. I want to say that Disciple for the first 5 levels is comparable or better to EA and Aqua. And it's, honestly no, for the first 7 levels. The reason it's down here and not up here with them is because it's not very good on 8 and very bad on 10. So with these two you often have options to hold 10. With Disciple, it's a lot harder than with EA or Aqua. And that for me is literally the reason why it's S+ and not up the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
I
super
agree.
good.
For me, the main reason is just 8. Like for 10, I don't know if you compare it to EA on 10. Yeah, probably EA is better indeed. But yeah, on 8, you most of the time die, but you're fine since you have a great early push and. It's insane on early level. But yeah, it's not as good as EA Aqua, in my opinion.
Would you say this is a good unit to send the Furbs with?
Yeah. Indeed.
Indeed. Excellent. Right, Harlot. Moa, I think this is your one.
Yeah, for me it's just a C unit because it's indeed super strong on 7, but again you steal the feed to do nothing for 10 most of the time. The problem is I feel sad to have it next to Cavalier because for me it's way better than Cava. Not way better, but it's better. Still, it's never a B. It's just so dead value after 7.
Yeah, but we can't count that again. That is
Sorry?
so much high value. Then we really have to change turret again, but I also don't want to do
Yeah.
that. But for me, it's A tier in the early game. It's one of the best 7 holder. You can build it early. It one hits 1, 2, 3, 5. So it's A tier for me. It's also useful 10.
For me,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, okay.
B tier
Yeah,
because of the heavy weakness on level 8. Like heavy weakness. Much worse than Greymane in my opinion. I also don't think it's as good on like level 4. You have to overbuild with it. But I do agree with you, N1ll3, that it's not a C tier unit. It is really good on 7. It's better on 10 than the Cavalier. I think it's about blaster level. It's not as good on 8. It's honestly, I don't think it's as good on like 1 to 3 either. Better on 5, better on 7. I think it's honestly about the same on 10. But it is a bit more flexible than Blaster. Maybe it is A tier then.
Yeah, I think it's A tier, but the really big problem is that you take the feed from your team, as Moa said. So, yeah, you have to consider it wisely if you build it or not, and weaker your team. It always depends on the situation. But it's a strong early unit for me for sure.
Yeah. So this is, once again, I think we're running into problems with the way I've set up the tier list, and I'm not sure if that's such a bad thing because there's no like one single way to do this that covers everything perfectly. But this unit is super good on 7. Like, it's not bad 1 to 3, bit weak 4, fine 5, super insane on 7. It's the best unit on level 7, I think, without compare. I don't know if you guys disagree, but I think it's the best unit on 7. Fine on 10, and then it sucks in the mid-game and late game. Every level. It doesn't have another useful level. So this is like, while it is a good unit in our early game 1 to 10 tier list, it falls off super hard. You've got to be careful. Because in the mid to late game, it goes down to here.
Yep.
Alright. Moving on. Time Stealer. I think this is my one. Are you okay with that, Moa? Sorry, I didn't check.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you?
Sure.
Okay.
Indeed, if you don't consider the mid game, it's a game end on 10. Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so for Time Stealer, for me, in the early game, 1 to 10, this is a C tier unit. I think it's very, very similar to Cavalier. Early, you don't get to push much. You're relatively weak 1 to 3. You're not a great 5 holder. You're not a great 7 holder. In fact, you're honestly a worse 7 holder than Cavalier. It is better on 10. Like, the niche of it over Cava is it's really good on 15, but obviously we're not talking about it. About 15. But for me, this is a C tier unit in the early game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's a weak level 1 and 2. If you get the same level 1 and 2, your lane is dead, you have no push, no hold. So, yeah.
Honestly, I think there's almost a case for it to be D tier, but I think it is a little bit better than that.
Yeah, it's a bit better. And also, maybe just for the reason, like, if you have clock with it, it's insane. Just for this reason,
true.
it has to be...
If you have, an efficient tank, and the best one being Clock, that gets you through the early game, Clock Time Stealer, really, really good. Check out my roller coasting video on YouTube. Nice Clock Time Stealer. Casual sellout. Right, thoughts on Half-Breed? Who wants to take him?
I can. Well, it's comparable to Cyborg, no? It's weak on 5. It's weak all levels. Yeah, not much to say about this unit. You don't want to overbuild with it because because you never hold anything and you count your low with this unit. So yeah.
For me, it's better than Cyborg on level 1 to 3, and it's about the same. It's much worse on 4, about the same on 5, and it's worse on 7 and 8. So I think D is fair. Very comparable to Cyborg.
Yeah. Maybe we can add that you can't really up that unit early because the attack rate of the Goliath is so slow. It's just makes no sense to up this unit. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Even though Goliath is a good unit later on, it's like it is overkill city. It's like Doomsday Machine style overkill early game. You're gonna be wasting like 100 damage per swing on most levels. It's just not realistic.
Also, I think the Goliath has perfect damage to one-shot 8. Like you exactly one-shot 8, but it still
dies in
still
a few
trash
seconds.
unit because of the attack speed. So yeah.
And the heavy armor.
Yeah, indeed.
On 8. So Apparition, I might take this one. Very, very slight use for level 10. Garbage every other level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
It's even
honestly,
close to
it's
the
F tier. Yeah, it's F tier. Because I was looking at Servant, and I'm thinking very, very slight use on level 3. Crusade, very, very slight use on level 2 and 3. Very, very slight use on 10. It's with these guys. It's super bad early.
Even if you compare it to RP, you play RP way more often than Apparition.
Yeah, 100%.
I think on 10, yeah.
And if anyone's thinking of trying a cheeky Apparition YOLO to prove us wrong, Apparition leaks level 1 by itself to no send. 250 gold leaking. Just a little bit of trivia. Yeah, not a good unit. Early on. Who wants to take our Druid?
Yeah, I can take the Druid.
Mm-hmm.
I think Druid is a B tier. You can. Yeah, you can. It has some use. You can build the Aske for 10. It's very good. Early, it's a weak unit. 1, 2, 3. It's fucking weak, and you should build around it and not start with this unit for sure. It's okay 4, and you can build the Master of Elements for 5 and 6 maybe. It's a valid unit, not strong, but it's playable at least. So yeah, it's a B tier for me.
Yeah, I agree completely with B tier. The nice thing about Master of Elements is it one-shots 8 with the normal damage, so it gets away from a level that's difficult for a lot of its competitors in the B tier. But the side effect is it's quite weak early. And Descendant is just a better solar villain for 10. So yeah. I agree completely with B tier. Decent unit, difficult to play, but good support. But, it has potential to be played on its own, or... I guess, in a sense, the Master of Elements is like a little bit like Greymane or Magnetor, that it will get you through level 5. If you have, like, Corrupted Ents and nothing else, it'll get you through level 5 and 6, but it's not as good as doing it as those two. Is that fair to say? I think so.
Yep.
Right. Wyvern. I think this one is mine. For me, Wyvern is a B tier unit. It's really bad on 1, 2, and 3. I wouldn't start with this most of the time, but upgrading it to a Wind Rider for 5 makes it quite good on 5 and 7 and 8, and then the Wyvern itself is not a bad damage dealer for 10. For me, it's not as good as some of these damage dealers like Spider, Infantry. I might build it on 10 if I had Infantry. I might get like a Wyvern and a Zeus sort of thing, but I think this is more useful on other levels. So yeah,
I think if you consider only an early game, it's even close to be A, because it's so dead value after. But if you have the right hats with it, it can be super strong. I like a lot this unit. If you have Hydra or AD, it's pretty okay 7, and you can do some sexy hold on 10. But yes, many weakness steals.
I can't put it better than Blaster. For me, Wyvern and Blaster are not better than each other, I don't feel.
Well, it's all about the ads, so yeah, I think they are both be
What do you reckon?
with the
Noah?
right ad. I think it's better.
Yeah.
But,
What do you
okay,
think, Noah?
this fine.
Yeah, it's fine. For me, it's also B tier. It's a solid unit, and I agree to this.
Right, who wants to take the Wendigo?
I think we will all agree. It goes with. I will take it then. It goes with the cyborg and half breed, no?
Yeah,
It's
I
the
agree.
same kind of unit.
Yeah,
Same
maybe
reasons,
Inca
same
or
reasons.
I think it's worse than these two. Actually, I think it's worse than Half-Breed. I think it's about the same as Cyborg.
Well, it's less tanky, I think.
It is.
Slightly more DPS. Yeah.
Its ability is really awkward. It's good on some levels, and then it just screws its own damage increments on other levels and ends up just wasting heaps.
Well, for 7, it's probably better to have Cyborg or Breed indeed. Maybe it's a bit better on 3, 1, 2, 3, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
it's
Right.
between D and E, I think,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
it's one of the worst units here for sure. Right, next up. Who wants to take this?
Yeah, then I take the last tier 5. I think that's an A tier now. Because it's solid early, you can YOLO, you can hold with it. It's one hit, it's strong 1, 2, 3. Not one. But 2 and 3, it's fine. Yes, some 4, but it's again good 5. And yeah, the Trident is a good hold. Solid hold, it's flexible, so it's an A tier for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mostly like it because it still has flexibility back to the days of like Komodo YOLO, where Trident was like an unplayable unit. So I think it's very similar to Greymane. I think it's a little worse on 7 and better on 8. But besides that, I think they're relatively similar units.
Yeah. By the way, it's really, really bad on 10. Like, extremely bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Just
If you compare it to Blaster, because it's the same gold, it has way better potential to YOLO. Better all 7 than Blaster, and weaker all 10. But yeah, the YOLO potential.
So between Blaster and Komodo, this is better on 7, this is better on 10, but this can do other things.
Yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
so it's the flexibility that gives it the leg up to A tier. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Alright.
Before we go to the next tiers, I have a really one problem with our ratings now, and that's the Ghost. Let me explain why. When we talk from level 1 to 10, Ghost is super shit 1, super shit Necromancer. It's shit 2, it's shit 3, it's very bad 4, it's okay 5, but again, it's bad 6, it's okay 7, bad 8, bad 9, and the most OP unit for 10. So it's A or S tier, because 10 is an important level, I agree on that. And 7 is also an important level, but it's not S++ for me for the early game. We can't put it on the Aqua and Archer S++.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, you're right.
And let's be honest, that whole like spiel we went on about, it's like, oh, you know, you keep the Necromancer with any roll. That's not because of the early game. That's not because of 1 to 10. It's not because of level 10. It's because this thing's stupid busted in the mid game. Yeah, that was like, we're getting baited because we just see this image and we think like, I think at this point our brains are wired to go like, good, like the best. You see this bloke's face here, this pretty face right here, and you just think like, the best.
Yeah.
But in the early game, it's not. Yeah, you're completely right there, Nilla.
Yep.
Alright, moving on. I might take this one. Moving on to an S++ tier unit in the early game. LOD. It's the best holder on level 1. It's strong on 2. It's fine on 3. Fine on 4. If you build, it's maybe actually slightly on the weak side for 4. But it's still fine there. It's fine on 5. It's fine on 6. It's fine on 7. Fine on 8. Fine on 9. Really strong on 10. You can hold with it. You can YOLO with it. It's probably like one of the best 10 holders. Like, it just doesn't have any real weaknesses. The weaknesses are when the player with this unit decides to make it a weakness, basically. Like, it can be strong on every level.
Yeah, I completely agree. You can play it doing ADs, LOD every single game on 7, and you're still gonna be super flat for 10. So never mind. We don't consider the mid game. Yeah,
Super good there as well.
It's just S++, yeah.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
so strong on 10, and you can YOLO. You can do anything with it.
Yeah, sometimes you have the weakness of 6 when you play for Hades 7. That's sometimes a weakness, but it's overall one of the best units for sure.
Yeah. But the thing is, with this unit, it's so flexible. You could also get a Hades on 5 and be like a holder for level 6 against Descend. It's like, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, Dragonhawk. Who wants to take this?
Okay, I can try to take it.
Right.
Well, when you play this unit, you play it level 5 or 10. You start to play it level 5 or 10 most of the time. Sometimes you get the small one on 7 with some setup. It's weak. It's just weak holder. It costs a lot. It's doing not much. For me, it's probably C. Yeah, just C. If you go Griffin on 7, it's never good. It's pretty. I like it with Aqua on 10. I think it's really strong. Yeah, not many utility. Could be even maybe D for early game.
For me, it is a
Usually-
C tier. Just you compare it to these, and this thing has more use on 7, on 5, on 7, and on 10 than all of these units down here. But it's not very good.
Yeah, C is fine.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to say. Like, Griffin is too expensive, and the AoE isn't good on 10. Single Dragonhawk, like, just compare the DPS on 10 to like Necrolite, and it's just a joke. It's, it doesn't really have a super good level early game. That's all there is to say. Alright, AOD. Who wants to take this?
Okay, I take the. Yeah, I think that's B tier now. It has some good 7 hold, no OP 7 hold, but it's still okay. But it's also okay 8. But yeah, you have some weaknesses in the early game, and yeah, it's playable, but not OP anymore. It's a B tier.
Yeah, I agree. For me, this is, again, comparing it to Blaster, this is like a comparable 7 hold, a bit better on 10. The problem is with this thing, once you've built it on 5, you have to upgrade it on 7. Like, there is almost no workaround to upgrading it on 7, because it has light unupgraded, the summons have light armor, so they die in about half a second on level 7. So if you don't upgrade it, it feels like 340 dead value. So it's very, very unflexible. It's not flexible at all. And I think that's the weakness of it. But it's quite a strong unit in general.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty hard to rate it because it really depends on your ads.
Clock PD and Guard PD, for example, are pretty good 7 holders.
Yeah.
You can have things like you can have anti-10 with it, then it becomes a pretty nice unit for 10. It's not as good as Hades on 10, but it's not that much worse.
Yeah, B is fine. B is fine.
Right, moving on to Spawn of Dragon. I hate this
Take
unit.
it, Niels. You love it, Niels. Take it.
Okay. Yeah, it's super strong. It can solo hold 3. Yeah. But the weakness 5 is sick. The 7 hold is good, but after 7 it's completely useless again. So it's like C tier, I think. No, or B tier, maybe B tier.
For
Harlot
me,
is way strong, for sure.
for me, this can't be C tier because it's not Cavalier tier.
Yeah.
Even though like a little bit of me wants to rate this down F tier because I can't play it without like really good ads to save my life. I suck with this unit, I just do. It is super strong on 1 to 3. It's probably the best unit on 1 to 3, considering how good it is on all of those levels. I think that's fair to say.
What this unit and a Polar, for example, you just build this unit, risk every level and get a Magna, and you kind of hold every level until 6, and suicide. That's the best suicide you can go for, and that has a big value for your team. In some cases, it's very, very nice to have this unit. But yeah, it's not really, as you said, when you can't play this, when you try to go for the hold and the other team sends 5, for example, you have a very big problem, and it can be lose your game. So yeah, it's a bit like a
Yeah, it's got the blaster problem on 5 where it doesn't quite one-shot. So it ends up looking sort of like a 3-0 leak off the lane to Ferb Hermit, and it's like, ooh, that's not good. Can't up, yeah. But it is a super good unit, even though I personally have a seething hatred for it. That's just because I suck with it. Right, Seer of Darkness. I might take this one. I have literally never used it in the early game. I don't believe I've ever seen it used in the early game. It is overpriced for what it does. Its niche is like it's meant to tank a bit with its energy shield, but then when you don't have like other units with it, or many other units with it, if you let it tank, it probably just dies. So I just don't see use for this unit early on.
Yeah. I've never seen this unit in like 6 months played before. Oh, you don't even play it mid-game, man. It's so bad.
The first level it's reasonable is level 20. Or it's actually not that bad on 16. But anyway, you're just not going to see it in the early game because it's bad. I think that's very fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, the big issue with it really is it's 325 gold. Like, you just can't start with this unit. So, yeah, there's not much more to say. Right, who wants to take Sea Giant?
I will take it.
Yep.
It's a tricky one also. It can be either super good or a bit bad. Like if you get broke by a send early game, you are pretty fucked. You have no push for the team. The hold is not safe. It's still a good unit on 7 and 10. For me, it's an A, I think.
Yeah, I also think it's...
It can't be B. There's no way it's a B, and it's never S. Like you have no push for the team, and you're not strong older 7, and sometimes you don't hold 10, although it's still an insane unit for 10.
Well, let's compare it to PD, which we've put in the B tier. It's similar on 7. It's similar on 5. It's maybe a little bit better on 10. But is it better than PD early on?
Not really.
I don't think it's better than PD early on. Like, considering
the level 10 is so important. You don't have many roles to hold 10, and Hydra is one of the way to hold 10. So For me, it's better than PD. Indeed, from level 1 to 9, it's pretty bad. But
Yeah,
covering the team 10 is so important.
The difference is you can get a Hydra for 5, and you for PD you always need to add more because you can't start with it.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. That maybe it's fine when the Sea Giant is A tier and PD is B tier because it's more easy to get a Hydra.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. You aren't forced to build just like dead value if you have PD and nothing else. I say dead value as in like these sorts of units. And I guess like you have the option, if they decide to clog or something, you can just, if you have your Hydra 5, you can just push the rest. With PD, it really feels like you can't. Yeah, okay, alright, that's fair, I can see those differences. I'm sold. Alright, Moonguard. Has anyone played Warden Hold? Or Moonguard Hold or anything? Warden for like 7? Because I feel like this unit deserves a D tier, because it's like... these 4 guys at the end here, I think, have a very similar story. They're pretty good on 3. This thing's better on 1 and 2 than any of these, but I don't think that really matters. It still sucks on 5, it still sucks. I think this thing sucks on 4 actually as well. It sucks on 7, sucks on 8, sucks on 10.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, for me too.
I'm sure
I didn't. I've seen this before the change, like 4 months ago. Patchy playing it for 7 with Necro or shit. It was pretty bad. So it got slightly better, but I don't know. Probably still not good 7 older, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine comparing a Warden on 7 to a Hydra on 7, considering Warden's actually more expensive. No way.
On 10 it's probably super bad.
Oh yeah, blink in, make sure all 3 of the bosses can hit it as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Do you disagree, Nella, or is this fine for you?
No, it's fine. D is fine.
Alright. Young Frost Dragon. I couldn't actually find the icon for this, so I just got the icon for the big dragon. But it is still talking about the whole unit. Who wants to take it?
Yeah, I can try it. Yeah, it's not very strong, but you can start with it. It's okay. It's okay start when you have the ads. You can, for 5 it's very strong, and you can hold with it 7. But after 7 it's it's shit again. So I think, it's B tier. B tier for the game.
B tier?
B tier.
Yes.
Okay.
B tier.
That's
Because I think most people don't play it because it's dead value later. That's for sure. But the hold is really not bad with the Frost Dragon.
Okay, for me...
You need DPS with it, no? I mean...
Yeah, it's a good time.
Can you hold 5? I'm not...
Yeah, you can absolutely hold 5.
It's a young Frost Dragon.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
For me, it's a C tier. I think it's very similar to Griffin. Like a Griffin hold for me. It's better on 7, it's worse on 10.
Yeah.
But for me it's... Well, I guess the difference is maybe you can start with this, but starting with this is not very good. It's super weak on 3 without AoE support, and there's not really much AoE support that even helps it. Like, the things that come to mind are maybe like turret, but then just play turret. And if you really want, build it for 5, upgrade it for 7. And then like wagon, but then I feel like you just play with the wagons instead. And then engineer, in which case just play engineer. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a C tier for me.
Yeah, same for me. Nah,
Then it's fine for me.
Like for me, it's not as good as Spawn or like Blaster in the early game.
yeah, and as you said, it's really weak on 3, which is a huge problem.
Like you really, or at least I've played it a few times because I actually do have a soft spot. I like the Azzy Dragon, but like man, it sucks on 3. It is super hard to hold 3, even with no send, unless you're 2-0.
Yeah. Okay, C is fine.
That being said, it might be bloody good with a parrot. Haven't tried that yet. I have to keep a mental note of that. Right, Neo Tank for the early game. Do you want to take that one, Mark? Oh no, you did Siege Iron. It's my turn to take this. Alright, for me, this is... I'm going to put it on D tier because it has... No, I'm going to put it on E tier. It has some application for level 8, but that's pretty much it. It's super bad getting it earlier than that, as far as I'm aware. Like, it's not bad on 8, but how often do you end up on 360 gold on 8? Like, I am not staying 7-2 on level 8 to get a Neo Tank. I'd rather just suicide then and there. What do you guys reckon?
Sometimes you can do it on 8. Indeed, if you play some trash yellow with dead value like Nightmare and somehow get fat early game because you hold the sand and
Or
take
it's
some
just,
feed,
or it's
you
just a
can
fat
recover.
game like double immolation.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you probably don't want to save 200 gold on 8 to get it, but yeah, if you have immolation, you can recover 8 to exist. It's just insane on 8. So it's still close to be F. I think he's fine just for level 8.
What do you
It's
reckon?
really rare case though.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Nilla?
Yeah, your F, I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's really just a few cases. And yeah, you never build it early game, as you said. So, yeah, for 8, okay, it does some damage then, but really not enough for that gold, for that amount of gold. So, yeah,
it's probably just F.
Oh, it's a shame. I played this before I sort of started recording my games, but I had level 10. It was one of those super fat games like double immolation. I think there was like a clog as well. It was just ridiculous. I had Doomsday with Dark Mage and upgraded Parasite on it for level 10. It killed those bowmen so well. Yeah, I killed like one boss and then just got stuck on mass forever. It was pretty sad, but I was like 7-5, so, you know. Alright, War Chief. Does anyone want to take this? Because I don't like this unit personally, so I'm not good at rating it.
I can take it.
Yep.
It's really weak on 3, really weak on 5. Older 7 is not super good.
Isn't it pretty bad on 4 as well? Or am I wrong?
I think it's fine on 4.
Okay.
Well, the attack speed is really slow. Most of the time, I think you need to overbuild 3, so you're fine on 4 then.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to rate it. For me, it's better than Cyborg, Half-Breed, and 1D Goo. Because it has some potential on 7. I think it's a C.
Yeah, I agree. The nice thing about War Chief as well, compared to these units, is it has enough damage to one-shot level 5. So even though the AoE ability doesn't work on 5, it doesn't really need it to work to be like playable. But I think on every other level, it's just a worse spawn of dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I see many people when they notice the War Chief level 1 because like
they send hermits on
die instantly. I think it's way better to send 3 than 5 because indeed it's pretty okay on 5 considering you're probably gonna overbuild for 7 anyway. if you have 2 War Chief on 5 with some adds you needed for 3, it's pretty can do pretty decent. Probably better than blasters for the same value.
Yeah.
Slightly better.
The
Yeah,
thing I've
it's
seen
a
with
steal.
War Chief that stays with me to this day is we had a dude with War Chief, it was just in some public game. Hell Warriors with War Chief, stayed 1-0, got a second War Chief for level 3 because he got some feed. Got a third War Chief for level 5 and like held ascend really nicely. it was one of those things you'll never see again. Right, moving on. I think Minotaur's fine. I think War Chief's fine on C tier. Minotaur.
Yeah, I take that for sure.
Go
That's
for it.
my unit. So I like this unit. It's a good holder. You can play it. You can really play this unit. No one plays it, but it's really playable. For example, you start with it, and you mostly hold even a Furb on 2 without an add. And yeah, for 3, you can mostly add a one-hitter or whatever. For example, with Greyman, it's very good because you need the to cover 5 because it's also weak 5, and just get the Bigfoot for 7. Bigfoot 1 hits, and the Stomp is strong, and it's really playable. But sadly, I can't rate it above C, so it's C tier. It's playable, you can play it, but yeah, that's it.
So I've got a question for you then. Would you rather
Yeah.
play Bigfoot Greymane than just like 3 Greymane if your team needs a holder?
Yeah, I rather play Bigfoot Greyman than 3 Greyman, I think.
Okay.
When we don't need a 10 hold, because I can push more and I'm more safe early.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. I was just asking since you mentioned that build with the Grizzly, it came to mind that like, would you not just play Bear? But okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, obviously, I guess the Bear, you can YOLO a bit more. But yeah, if you want to actually hold, fair enough. Okay, Ig. I might take this unit. For me, this is the best full holder unit. But early in the game, I don't think it's here. I still think it's S+. It's weak on 3, weak on 6, and weak on 10 if you play it with a holder. The TOC is pretty good, but tends to leave you really low on push. For me, it's S+.
Yeah, S+ is fine for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strong on 7. Yeah.
Like if
Yeah, you can also YOLO it a bit. You can always go 7-2 and semi-hold if you want. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think if you always had the Ig with either Polar and they never send 3 or Crab, then I think it's here. But because that's not the case, and this is just because you go Ig, you go Crab for 2 and you hold Ascend. You upgrade the Crab for 3 and you hold Ascend. That holds Ascend on 4. You sell the Crab on 5 to get a TOC, and you're like 5-1 or something with TOC on level 5, and it's just super insane. It's safe every single level, and as soon as you have a TOC, you're set until level 9. You don't need to build until 9 if you're happy to leak a bit on 8.
S+ is fine.
But yeah, the weakness of obviously just TOC on 5 with most units is that if you have to build for 3, you are 2-0, and that sucks. Alright, Guardian of Death, the God. What do you guys reckon?
I will take it. It's a D, I guess. Yeah. Well, you don't have many ways to play it because you can't play it level 1 because you miss 20 gold. If you have bottom feeder and you play it level 2, it's pretty comparable to Spawn. It's the worst unit of the game, level 5 probably.
Yeah, that's true.
On 7, it's stronger than Half-Breed, One Ingu, and anything else. But I don't know when you really play it on 7. Like, it's pretty tricky. You just don't see it often early game because you don't have the money to play it at any moment. If you play it, you need to add it on 7. It can help some as a spawn. It's probably even better than spawn on 7, I'd say. After a 7, it's completely dead value. For
I
8
sometimes
and 7, I mean.
I sometimes add one for 5 when when the team really needs a holder, and you have a good anti-5 to Zebas for example. You add one for 5 and another for 7, and the HP for this unit for 320 gold, I think 1,580 or so, is really good. And yeah, I don't know. It's no strong unit. It's for 7. It's really good, but for the rest, it's kind of crap and hard to get it, as you said. I agree on that. But I'm not sure if I would place it D or C. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I agree. The problem is you can't really play. If you compare it to the other C, you just don't have it. You don't have the money for it earlier, so it's pretty tricky. Because yeah, indeed, maybe it's just a C, but
I think the
if
problem
you
with
don't have
this
bottom
unit
feeder,
is it's got. Sorry to cut you off. I think the problem with this unit is it's got Neotank syndrome. Like, it's good on level 7. It is, but it's difficult to get early on, and having just one tends to be not great synergy with most builds. I think it's good with Saber, as you said, but that's like Saber and maybe Cannon. But I don't think anyone's explored that with Cannon yet, and frankly, I think if you just get like 5 cannons, you'll probably do better anyway, and better 10.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
well,
if this is C
yes,
or D.
Saber, Cannon, bottom feeder, but they're pretty hard to imagine any other setup you reach it. Maybe if you overbuild like with Alpha, and then yeah, your team need a huge holder, you can add it on 7. But for me, you see it more often than Neotank still. So
Oh, it's a tier above Neotank. The question is it a C? I feel like the unit in itself isn't actually bad. It's on 7 at least.
yeah.
It's just so hard to get, and it's so bad on 5.
Yeah, sometimes when you really have crabs, not crabs, what's the name? A bottom feeder. So I got
These things.
when you get bottom feeder, you can get it for 2, and then you are safe 2 and 3, and then it's it's very rarely when you got these both units in one roll, so you can't really count that. But
and the thing is, it's like it's not only both of those units in the one roll; it's both of those units and something to stop you from dying on 5.
That's true. You need some AoE somehow, or Spectre, or I don't know. Yeah. Well, if you start it if you have it in your world, usually you just feel stuck because you can't add it so early. So yeah, I think just a D.
Yeah.
So hard to get the options to.
It's a shame in some ways, because in terms of the actual like strength of the unit, just like the stats, it's definitely like a C tier, but it's just unrealistic to get because it's so weak on 5. Like you only ever get 1, and even then, like it's not good to get 1 with most builds.
Yeah.
So D is fine.
Yeah. It kind of hurts because it's like, it's better, but at the same time, it's just not usable.
Yeah.
All right. Flamebeard. I want to take this one if that's okay. For me,
yeah, sure.
This is a B tier unit. I think even though it's very weak to start with, for me, for level 7, it's just like Azure Dragon on steroids. This thing is so strong on level 7 because of the AoE. It's not bad on level 10, just because it has like 250 single target magic damage and like takes a while to kill with like 3,000 hit points or 2,500 whatever it is hit points and regen. It's super weak early. It's weak on like every other level if you mix it with something. But if you get it on 7 and they don't get a scout, it is like able to eat 30-40 units in mid without too much problem.
Yeah. If you have it mid, it's probably even stronger than Yig mid.
Oh, without a doubt. It's because of the regen. It just sits in mid, and all of a sudden, even if it was on like 1/3 HP, all of a sudden, when the creeps reach, it's 2/3 HP.
I think I've seen Crossis hitting like 45 unit mid with he was the only mid, and he had this with a saber.
You should check my YouTube video titled "Coach Me Harder." I had about 40 units. I had about 40 units in mid with this, because I had a dark mage with it. If you have dark mage with it, it's like ridiculous. I think this unit with dark mage is probably in the A tier. I honestly think it's that strong. But for me, it's B tier. What do you think, Nilla?
It's really tricky. Okay, go for it, Neil.
Yeah, I would maybe place it in A tier. I haven't played that so often, so I don't know if I read this unit right, but it feels so strong, and 7 is so important. And it's 270 gold only, so you can place it for 5 and just up for 7. It feels stronger than the other B tier 5. So it's better than a spawn for sure, or not?
It is upgraded. For me, the problem with this unit is I played it with like privateer that game, I think, and I said it like I said it on the recording that I am like so shit on 5 and 6. It's not funny. Like it is so weak unupgraded. I think if it gets scouted, they can just send, then you're fucked. Like you are properly fucked. Because the thing about like AOD, for example, that's nice is it's not too bad on 5 and 6. Even if you're underbuilding and saving gold, it's not too bad. If you're trying to save for this thing, upgraded, like it costs 270 gold. Chances are it only spawns one lava tile if you build it on 5. Chances are it spawns where none of your allied units are. And it feels like this thing is like a bloody Komodo sort of, no, not Komodo sort of level. Something that dies really quick and doesn't really do anything on 5 and 6. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I really don't know so much about this unit. I just played it once with 2 blocks and Polar, and that was just insane. But I trust you here in the B tier. That's
By the way, I'm not even sure if you have a 2 disciple or 2 saber on 5. If you hold 6 with it.
I don't think so.
Do you guys know?
Honest. I don't know, but I don't think so.
That's a big problem.
For me on 5, I had 2 privateer, which had survived like most levels, so they had some buffs. I had a dark mage, I had a landlubber, and I had a bone warrior. And I had like I had just the dark mage mid. That was it. Everything else died. And this is with the, I don't know how much value, but it was like in the like 800 value sort of area.
Yeah, well, considering it's super risky to play it, I think it can never be better than B.
Okay.
And for me, it's like this, the unupgraded one as well, just last point I want to make, has 970 health for 270 gold. I know it has decent regen, but that's just insanely low for me. The point where it's just like, I would never start with this, I don't think. I think it's just too weak on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on. Steamroller. Who wants to take this one?
I take the Steamroller. Steamroller is a weak unit. Overall, you can't start with it, and it's probably D or E. Yeah, I think it's E tier. So you can maybe build it for 9 when you need it, maybe with the Acra build sometimes, but you always try to build other units. It's not very useful, it's not strong on any level, so it's kind of these useless unit.
Yeah,
E tier.
I agree completely. It's a dumb tank. and we're talking about early game, like dumb tanks aren't really meant to exist yet. So, like for me, dumb tanks is something like, you know, just a cyborg on 15, for example, is a dumb tank. It sits at the front, doesn't really do anything, takes some damage and dies. But like early game, you know, cyborg has good increments, it's actually quite a good tank, things like this for 200 gold. Half-Bred has fast attack speed, Wendigo has its like rampage, Moonguard has its fan of knives, we have AoE. This just has nothing. It's just, it sits at the front and dies. And like sometimes if that's what you need, then okay, but like besides that, I'd stay away from it in general. What do you reckon, Mara?
Yeah, I agree with Niels. You can play it with Aqua on 9 to old, which can be helpful. It's okay 8. I know you can Hellraiser YOLO with it on 8. I don't see any other situation where you play this unit. Yeah, it's comparable to Neotank for me, so each year is fine.
Yeah, cool. And last, but I don't think least by any stretch, we have Dark Priest. So this is your one, Mara. And just remember, we're talking about magic damage Dark Priest. Thank God.
Sorry. Well, you play it most of the time from level 8, I guess. If you play it, like you never play it before 8, because it's really bad on 7. It's really bad early game. I think it's playable early game if you have Exact and Parasite with it. You can hold with really low value, level 5. I did it once. You're like 470 value holding 5, but then you die on 6 indeed. So yeah, you basically never play it early game. It's really strong on 10. But yeah, it has no other utility. I think if you have Aqua, you can't even add it on 9 to hold. Should be... it's tricky because it's really strong and it can be really useful. I think it's a C, I guess, or B. The only purpose of the unit is 10, so...
Yeah.
For me, it's C tier. It's quite good on 10. I think it's usable to get a free hold on 7 occasionally. I've used it with Clock before, and it's like it 2-hit 7, so if you just have like dumb frontline, it feels pretty okay. But I would stress it's like only free holding, and but yeah, that's about it. Not that much other use for it. But I think that's good enough to put it into C tier. What do you think?
Yeah, I also think C is fine.
It's like it's good on an important level. Like it's better than Dragonhawk on 10, for example. Quite a bit better. But it's worse on 7, worse on... Well, it's not really worse on any other level, I don't think. I guess it's worse on 6, bit worse on 7, bit worse
on
8.
6 it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst units for 6. But on 10, it's insane. You have so many setups you can build it like Malformation, Saber, Hydra, LOD. If you have a PD already and you reroll, well, you have many options to ships also. Really strong with ships.
Yeah, it's just...
But yeah, it's only useful 10.
Yeah, it's good damage on 10, and it has like a nice sort of increment where it doesn't just overkill the dinos stupidly. I think it fairly neatly two-shots dinos, doesn't it? With a good attack speed.
I'm not sure. Good question.
I believe that's true, but I'm not certain. Regardless, the spell's nice on the bosses as well. Nice debuff. Good unit for 10.
And you have the pool ability also, like pretty much like Zeus or Ascendant.
Yeah.
Better than Ascendant, and between Ascendant and Zeus for the pool ability level 10.
Yeah, so high-ranged unit that will sort of stay in its place and won't just run really far before attacking, can like help pull the boss to the wall and improve your focus. That's what he means by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our last unit. I'm happy with this tier list the way it is now. What do you guys reckon? Is there anything that jumps out at you that you might want to change?
Let me take a look. No, I think it's fine.
In
I like
general,
it.
I also think it's fine. Maybe the Grey Man to S tier, but I'm not sure about this. Grey Man is, as we said, so flexible and really strong. You can, it covers 6 so good. And yeah, how often did he won a game when the other team did not scout a Grey Man and they just sent 6? And yeah, Grey Man is so strong.
That's true.
I did 2 clock, 1 polar, 1 grizzly for 5. The polar and the grizzly died. They sent 6. Game ended.
Yeah,
Very
that's
soon
I like
afterwards.
it. Also, if you place it on level 1, you reroll any suicide roll. You can still manage to be alive from level 1 to 6 just because of this unit.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
It's
yeah.
so
Yeah.
hot. Also, can I just say, look at the tier list. Now and now. This was meant to be. So much neater. Yep, 100%. I like the sort of spread distribution we have. We have like a lot of units that are in the B tier, which is like they're pretty decent early. Quite a few in the C, which part of this is just because a lot of these units are expensive. It's not necessarily their fault. But all these units are like usable, but they're a bit more niche than these units. You know, some weaker units and some more or less don't use units. And then you obviously have a good package of strong units. But I like this sort of spread distribution where most of our units are either average or like have reasonable ways to be used, but might be a little on the weak side or less flexible. So I think that looks rather good.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, any final comments from you guys before we sort of wrap it up? You don't have to, just
good.
if there's anything you sort of wanted to say.
No, all good for me.
No, it's all good. People just have to keep in mind that that's just for the early game. So the other thing, as Epic said, will be decided later, and some people fall off very quickly and are absolutely useless in the mid game.
Yeah. So this is not the LTD tier list. This is the LTD early game tier list. So if you have a look at this, it should give you an idea of sort of what units are going to really help you out, level 1 to 10, and give you that good basis to go into the mid game, because it doesn't matter if you have the best units in the mid game, if you have no value and no income, you leak every level anyway. Doesn't matter. So yeah, cheers very much for watching. Thank you to everyone that joined me for both of these sections. Appreciate it very much, because obviously you get nothing out of this besides sort of my goodwill, which is worth fucking nothing, to be completely honest. So cheers very much. I appreciate it. And to everyone watching, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all of that. And I'll catch you next time.